What is up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. It's another Tim and Katie live stream. For better or for worse, here we are.
We're here.
We're here, and we're not alone tonight. You guys, please welcome our dear friends and fellow runners, although we've only run one race, so they're more avid runners. Mitch and Devon from Our Florida Passport. Welcome, guys.
Hey.
This is your first ever live stream. How are you feeling?
Nervous.
Nervous?
Yeah.
I feel okay. We're among friends. Sorry,
We're
ladies.
among friends. It's all good. It's all good. It's gonna be a good time.
And we also have Little Miss Lady here as well.
We do, yes. A special guest.
I don't know how she feels about running, but
She loves running, actually.
I would
She's a
think
good
she
runner.
loves running.
She's like
Yes.
quick as lightning.
She is.
a little with her
She's
tiny,
got her
tiny
two
little
runners.
legs.
Let's see who is in the comments. Thank you, Jen and Vanessa, for beating me to the punch. Audio is good. We've had audio issues in the past if you're new to the stream, so I always usually lead off by saying, hey, can you hear us? Can you hear me now? Good. Kaylee is in. Welcome, Kaylee. Thank you for coming.
Hey.
Hello, Mitch and Devon.
Oh, Morgan.
Morgan says, can't stay long.
I know you have something else to do tonight.
Morgan
but
also just ran her first Run Disney race not that long ago. So thank you for
nice.
joining,
I think
Morgan.
she's training for another
I think she
fall
is.
one. So good luck with your
Currently
training,
doing
Morgan.
the summer virtual challenge and signed up for a 5 and 10K
Oh.
for Wine and Dine.
Nice.
You're doing a great job, kid.
And Vanessa is here too. I guess Chad is running the 2 tickets.
Hey, guys.
Fine.
We got a good little crowd in here.
Oh, she hasn't done
She
one.
has not run
Okay,
one yet.
but she's
training
doing
for one.
the summer virtual series.
Got it. Okay,
All right.
that's a nice little crowd, honestly. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're not that interesting, but fortunately, we have Mitch and Devon to cover the slack.
And they're Run Disney
Yikes.
veterans.
They are.
Picked the wrong crew on that one.
There you go.
Let's spice it up.
All right, guys, before we get into this tonight, I do want to go ahead and shout out our socials. The Real Tim and Katie Instagram is where most of our social posting is done. Facebook has been finicky lately. I really have been trying to give Facebook some love, but it's not sharing all the posts. Something is going wacko at
Waco?
Wacko at Facebook Meta headquarters, whatever we want to call it. But we do try to give Facebook a little bit of love too. So if you're a Facebook person, feel free to follow us on Facebook. And we have a website too where we post
And it's
nonsense.
up to date.
It's not anymore.
Oh,
Actually,
it's
'cause we
not.
posted
It was almost up to date.
It is almost up to date currently. It was formerly totally up to date, but it's a nice place.
It's not 8 blogs
It's a cool place to
behind,
hang out.
which it was a while ago.
Yes,
So
it's been worse. Is the
You're only human, okay?
So guys, we've known Mitch and Devon for quite some time. It doesn't feel like it's been quite some time.
I was
while at
gonna
the same
say
time feeling
the
like it's
opposite.
been-
Like it has only been a couple years, but feels like longer. But
It feels like forever.
I mean,
It
that's
does.
pandemic time though.
It's
so.
pandemic. Yes, we did. I think Mitch, you started following us early.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it actually was from Facebook, from
It may well have
Oh.
been
Disney
yeah.
YouTubers like
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Just
and
goes
then
to show I need
he
good
was
shit.
like, "You need to watch these guys," and I
Mhm.
watched one of your dining videos, and I was like, "Okay."
"Oh no, not the
Oh.
dining."
It was
Yeah.
Was it Topolino?
It was when
Yeah.
No.
he cried about Donald. I'm like, "That's my girl."
I lost
Okay,
my mind
I
over
gotta
that
follow
one.
these guys.
I still lose my mind.
Katie is a big Donald.
He's just got the cutest fluffy butt. Can't stand it.
He does have a fluffy butt. You can't take that away from him.
It's true.
And also, he's just, I root for the underdog. Like, he gets a lot of love.
Mickey was voted mayor of Toontown.
Yep,
Donald was unfairly maligned.
yep. Gotta stick with my man Donald.
We did have a collab with you guys not that long ago. We have two now.
Yeah,
actually,
we have
I forgot.
two.
I forgot we did a second one not that long
Two
ago.
now.
That's this
from
picture.
which this picture was pulled. This was a fun time.
That was awesome.
That was like
That
a
was
blur, I
when-
feel like.
That was when you were working like on and off nights, Devin.
Yeah.
You were like lucky to get off one
I
night
was
in time.
barely human.
Barely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you were
Yes.
dead tired from like working the night shift. It was fun though.
Yeah, it was
Mitch
great
got
to
so
catch
was.
up.
fun,
And I got
and
so
then we went to Space
frozen
220.
somehow.
And it got chilly that night.
It did. It was a chilly.
I kind of
Florida
missed
evening.
that.
I know.
You and me both, sister.
Don't appreciate what you have.
I'm gonna keep moving. I'm a fidgety guy.
That's okay. I do too. And then Tim is like, stop under the table.
So let me give you guys. I'm gonna put you all on the big screen here.
Oh,
Y'all want to tell us about, for those who haven't followed us long enough and might not know you, do you want to talk about our Florida passport, i.e.
Sure.
Roadside Trippers, and what you guys are all about?
Yeah. So we started Roadside Trippers like a lot of people during the height of the pandemic, where we were just feeling a little stir crazy, and we just really had like a love for like roadside attractions and like local Florida stuff. And then that time the theme parks weren't open, and that's always something that we've been passionate about. So once they started opening up, we started visiting the theme parks more often on our page, on our Instagram mostly, and then just doing a lot of traveling. So lately we changed our name to Our Florida Passport just because we felt like it fit our channel more. When we started, we were doing a lot of like roadside attraction stuff, which we still love, but only so many roadside attractions exist around you that you can visit so many times.
yeah.
So then you got to kind of switch things up. But yeah, so we obviously love Florida. So we thought, why not just make it more official, show our passion for Florida.
I will be honest, though, it's going to be really hard to stop calling you guys the Trippers.
I know.
And that's okay.
I still am like, what's her name again? Oh, Our Florida Passport. Like it still catches me up a little bit.
Roadside
Oh, yeah,
passport.
I do like the new name. I do like the new brand.
Yeah.
I've called you Trippers for a year and a half. So I'm like, anytime we're talking about you guys in the background, it's like, what are the Trippers? No, hold on, they're not Trippers anymore.
We're still the Trippers at heart.
Yeah, it is. It's a hard name to get rid of,
Yeah.
but like at the same time, this fits.
Yeah.
What we do. What
You
we're
guys
doing.
do an excellent job highlighting, I think, attractions and areas of Florida that don't get as much love because of the theme parks and so many, more very popular things to do. So, I mean, and Lady had some opinions about that.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like really love that manatee sanctuary video, the Sunrail series that you guys did.
I know we still need to do. It's been slacking.
Or still doing.
No, it's
Yeah,
great.
more. So,
Work in
It means
progress.
it could live on as an existing saga
It
without
could.
being
Yes,
built
it's
upon,
definitely.
but it could also be built upon. I love it. Vanessa loves your new name, guys.
Oh, thanks.
I'm sure she
Vanessa.
said as much. And Kaylee is doing a great job of being
Aw.
the publicist here.
Thank you. I know I need to
I will-
change that roadside.
I will
Tripper.
call out your various socials here as well. You guys do have a TikTok as well, which
We
we don't
do.
have a TikTok. So
Mhm.
TikTokers out there, instead of following us, please follow our
I have
Florida
some really
Passport.
great reels.
They do have some really great.
Thank you.
And we also have a Facebook.
Oh, you forgot their
Well,
I
that's
did
Facebook.
forget about the
Yes.
Facebook. I am so sorry, but you know what? It'll go in the
It's
description.
okay.
Oh no, I was
No.
just saying.
It'll be in the description. No, Mitch, I've cheated you. It will be in the description. But
Cool.
definitely, if you're not following anywhere else, make sure you follow them on Instagram and YouTube. And I know
And TikTok.
and TikTok. I know you guys do a ton of stuff on Instagram and TikTok right now. And YouTube,
Yeah.
YouTube on and off, but definitely those two for sure. And the YouTube stuff has been really, really cool too. So I highly
Thank you.
recommend
Thank you.
following
Thank you.
YouTube as well. And Facebook. I just forgot. Oh no, what have I done?
Whoa, and
Sorry.
Devin and I were like merged into
Super
one
sorry.
person.
That was me and you were like.
Scary.
That's what you call being two-faced.
That
ah.
was trippy.
All right, guys, what are we here to talk about tonight?
Run Disney.
Did you both do the same thing?
I don't know. I just sang Run It Up.
Run for your life.
Yes.
Run for your life.
We are talking Run Away. We are talking tonight about Run Disney. For those who don't know, Katie and I, we ran our first ever half marathon, but also our first ever Run Disney event. So it was a kind of a 2-for-1 deal. Very, very recently in February of this year. Right? It was this year.
Yeah.
It was this year.
It was-
No, I'm not crazy. It was
like
this
4
year.
It was this
Yes.
year.
It's not that
year.
long ago at all, but it feels like a century ago already because I'm already like right back out of shape.
I'm starting to
That's how that happens.
get back in shape, but
It was an experience, I will say that much.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely, a training, which we'll talk about. I often was being told about the runner's high, and I had Jeff Galloway in my ear saying, your runner's high, once you hit that stride, you're gonna be great, you're gonna feel great, you're gonna run free. And I'm like, when does this happen, Jeff? I'm 3 miles deep and I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
But crossing the finish line, I will say, definitely a runner's high.
That's when it kicks in the most.
Yeah, it's rewarding for sure.
And we wanted to have Mitch and Devon on tonight to talk. We actually pushed this stream back a couple of times because we knew we couldn't do it
we
without
had to do it with them.
because they have been running Disney races for quite some time.
Yeah, when was
number
your
of
first
years.
Run Disney race? Do you remember?
2013, it was
Okay.
Tower of Terror 10 miler.
Yeah.
So
I
we're
believe it
talking
was the last.
It was the last one they did.
Or the second
I
to
think.
last one. I don't know, but
So
yeah.
that's
I have to look that up.
almost 10 years of Run Disney.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
It
we
was
brought the
probably
experts.
2-hour one.
You
Hey,
guys-
I mean, you gotta start somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we live here. Obviously, that makes it a little more easier for us to be able to just sign
True.
up.
A
And
little
you know,
bit.
But people do
Yeah.
travel from all over the world to be part of
They
this.
do. It's so crazy. It is such an experience.
And also, it would go back to your budgeting thing because they're not cheap,
No.
Yeah.
especially when you add up.
Traveling.
I don't know if we're getting into that later.
I mean,
Who
we
knows
can-
what we'll get
we can certainly
into.
get into that. The
Like, what
travel
to
costs
expect.
associated with the trip are because on the Walt Disney World properties, which you obviously don't have to stay at a Walt Disney World
Right.
property, but that's where a lot of people who are coming from out of town are going to go because the buses transport you back and forth to the races.
Convenience. for
Most
sure.
convenient, yeah.
Yeah. So during that time, instead of offering discounts, a lot of the hotels like double prices.
Yes.
And if you're like Katie and I are in the Disney Vacation Club, we tried to book a DVC resort and it was gone.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah.
second they announced dates, every DVC room sold out at every property. And we were like, well, if we were ever going to splurge,
I guess it's
we're going to have to go. I mean,
Yeah, you guys went to Animal Kingdom Lodge,
Yeah,
right?
right.
yeah, and we did. We booked the Animal
Yeah.
Kingdom Lodge, and that was like one of the best resorts we've ever
was
stayed at.
amazing.
Amazing.
Not just at Disney, but like across
I
the
was just-
whole of our resort stays.
Yeah. it's
We're not as
amazing.
well traveled as you guys. We haven't been outside of the country much.
Uh-huh. Not together, at least.
Not together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been to Ireland and London and
Nice.
whatnot, and she's been to.
A lot of places.
A lot.
We don't have to go into Katie's personal
That's a
travel.
whole different.
Some,
podcast.
yeah, that's.
I want to
different
learn
topic.
something new about Katie on every
You know all
live
the
stream.
things.
Mandy's in. Hey,
Hi,
Mandy, thank you for
Hello.
joining.
Hi.
Joining us.
Guys, Morgan is asking, would you recommend driving? I have my own answer based on our experience, but you guys coming from off property might be able to answer this better.
I prefer staying on.
We've
property.
never actually stayed. Well, Mitch just recently drove from our house there,
Yeah.
but we always stay because it's so early in the morning. And we live about 35, 40 minutes, and I don't want to be up at 1:30 in the morning. You know the drill.
Yeah.
You got to get there. You got to wait for hours, and then
Yep.
you got to wait even longer. And then, so we personally prefer to try to book a resort.
I would. I mean, if you're running one race, because this is why I did.
You're good.
I ran the last one was just one race, so it was not that bad. I got up, I think 3:30, like she said. But like if you're running multiple races, it's probably better unless you live close,
Yeah.
because like you're getting up early and you're waiting for a long time to run.
Mhm.
And
If you're in like a later corral, you could probably get away with driving.
yeah,
But if you're
the
Which we
traffic
were when you don't have
to
your
where I guess Epcot is where ours started.
Epcot Center Drive was under gosh when
Yeah,
we went
the
for our
traffic
first
just
race.
looked
So it
horrific.
took
It
30
just
minutes
opened.
to go a
recently,
mile and
actually.
a half.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That sounds
Which
terrible.
if we had it, we got on one of the latest buses, which was still just incredibly early if you're not used to it.
And we were in the last corral.
We were in the last corral, so we weren't like super afraid of missing the start.
Yeah.
But there was a brief period while we're sitting on Epcot Center Drive where we're like, officially it's supposed to start in like 25 minutes, and we're not even like through security or anything, but
we still saw the first people go.
Yeah.
So,
someone did inform us on the bus that if you're on the bus, they will not let you miss
Deny you. Yeah, well, that's
you have
good.
to be on the bus before
you have to
4:30
be on a
something.
bus by a certain time, but once you're on the bus, you're okay. So
Interesting.
I agree. Like, I would stay on property for sure. I mean, we did the only time, so that's the only experience we had.
Yeah.
I think it was definitely worth staying, even though we had to pay an arm and a leg to stay at the Animal Kingdom Lodge.
Yeah.
I think that us being there and being local to Epcot and having free transportation and managed transportation directly drop off for runners took a lot of stress out of the situation for us.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Plus, if you're driving yourself, there's no one going to tell you, you made it on the bus, so you'll make it to the race.
Right, exactly.
You're around 30 minutes late and no one might pity you.
You're on your own.
Yeah. It's definitely personal preference.
The buses for Princess.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that was what we did.
Yeah, we did the half. We did the Disney Princess half marathon, which.
I got mine on too, but mine's 2020.
Oh, you did not have to do that. Yeah, this is my only shirt. It might be my only one forever. I don't know, but I got it.
I doubt it.
Well, you and the announcer at the front of the corral, you both. He was also like, "Is this your first race? It's not going to be your last."
True.
I will
get
say
it.
that,
I mean, it's not. We did run like a practice run too to get ready, which we'll get into training and all. I don't want to say.
Yeah.
But we did run a practice run early on, which we also vlogged, and that was just not even remotely comparable. The distance was half, but that isn't even what we're
10K.
thinking about. It's 10K versus a half marathon.
It was running in the streets of Baltimore versus
Right. We just
Disney
wanted a
World
progress
property.
barometer, and we thought that we were going to be running through the Baltimore Zoo. We were actually running through the streets of Baltimore around,
Yes. I remember that for a while.
which is fine for what it is. But just going to Disney is like, man, nothing is ever going to come close.
No,
like
it's like
we,
that.
that's what I was just about to say. Like,
There's
there's no
races.
run that can compare, I don't think.
Nope.
It's just so well done, and I guess that's where your money comes in for that one.
and it's the IPs too. Like, it's the Disney magic, it's the Disney nostalgia. You got characters all throughout. Like, there's nothing like Run Disney in the world.
No.
Yeah. Yes.
We are repping the Mulan brand.
We had our race was Mulan themed or whatever.
For the 5K and 10K people were waiting forever for the buses. Yeah, I mean, getting in and out of Epcot was a nightmare. But
Where was she coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, having that road closure, I'm sure really muddied things
Pretty
up
open,
a bit.
by the way, you guys are closer, you know. Epcot Center Drive.
It just opened like a week ago, I want to
Yeah.
say, because that's the way I have to take to work. But luckily,
Yeah.
my exit for work is like just like the last one before it's actually shut down. So yeah, but I think it just
opened last
opened.
week.
Yeah. So
it's good.
So the next people might not have the problems that we had.
Yeah.
But I would still try to be on a bus as early as
3:30.
possible.
Yeah, we
You're
always
on the last bus. Technically, I guess you'll make it, but you're gonna be stressed.
be stressed. Yeah, no thanks.
I think it also depends
5K.
on what resort you're at too, because like if
It
you're
does.
at like it might be like the values might have more people there just because of the value.
Yeah, how many people it'll hold and
Yeah, because I remember we got up and it was like ghost town, and
But that's because a lot of people had already left
Yeah,
too. Like
I
anyone
guess.
who was up to go to the race was probably out. If
but
they were,
we weren't late or anything.
I think the more races you do, the earlier you get placed because you have time where you can
Yeah.
prove I belong in an earlier corral, so you have to get on an earlier bus and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Vanessa, the 5Ks, 10K, it depends on the race. Like, it's not fixed.
That's a good one, though.
Yeah.
That, through Epcot, it's a good one.
I don't know if I've ever heard of one being described as
Bad.
bad.
Mhm.
I
I don't think the longer ones are kind of bad.
Okay, I will say there's a
preferences.
stretch of the half marathon that I was
Yes.
death.
The
Like,
after you
princess can have, sorry,
Yeah,
it
no,
can
go
be a
ahead.
little rough because there's so much road time between, and
Yeah.
it can be a little, I mean, they obviously do a good job at like with the entertainment and stuff, but just that stretch of road, especially with the construction it's been under for the past few years, is a little.
This,
Well, when the
and by
sun
the
comes
time,
out,
and it's like
And
the
when the
sun is
sun comes
out and full blazes, and you're like,
Yeah.
you're hitting mile 9,
unless
10.
you're in the
Mhm.
first corral
Yeah.
and you run
Yes.
like the wind.
When-
Yeah.
yes, when
I
you're
have
in
to
the
beat
last
sunrise.
corral.
Yeah.
The last corral.
Last
the
corral.
sun.
I'm full on Barry Allen
Yeah.
right here trying to beat the
Yeah.
sun.
I did want to talk about that, I think later, but yeah,
Yeah, we
Like-
can hold some
But
stuff.
like
in
all
reserve.
of the, I mean, there's definitely like, I mean, that's kind of like a funny story, and it's kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the, badge of honor that you bear. Like, yeah, I got through that rough part, because
Yeah.
the rest of it, when you're running
When you-
through the parks or backstage, it's
yeah.
really cool.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
backstage, even though it's kind of like hokey feeling, it's like super
No,
cool
it's
because
like-
you could see
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, that's the cool part. You can see
Yeah.
the backstage stuff that you would
I
not.
don't mind peeking behind the magical.
Yeah.
I think the
fun.
hardest part for me is always when you leave the kingdom and to
Yeah.
Hollywood Studios. It's the hardest stretch.
Mm.
Now we didn't run that because we did Epcot to Magic, back to Epcot.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Princesses, but there is this part where you go through studios, but you literally just go by Tower of Terror and then you come out. So it's always funny to me
It's
because I'm
kind of
like,
the
why
s-
did you even like
Why didn't
add
you-
that?
Yeah,
Just wanted to
I do remember
touch
that in
it
your
and
guys'
go.
Yeah. Like, oh, there's Tower of Terror. Okay, let's go.
Well, it's that stretch then, like,
Yeah.
because you run past the Swan and Dolphin and up and down.
Yeah.
It's like the long, it's all sun.
Yep.
It's so that in the marketing materials they can be like run through Hollywood.
You run
Studios.
through, yeah.
Well, run to
Pass.
Right.
Wave high,
Right.
wave high.
It's like pivot turn. Okay,
Yeah.
you're done.
Morgan had a question about the corrals
Uh-huh.
regarding like so they are
They're
100%.
very strict.
they are pretty strict about the
Yes.
corrals.
Mm. You can move back, but you can't move
Can't move
forward,
forward.
if
Yeah.
you're running with
Mhm.
people.
So if you have like a friend who's in a different corral and you want to run together, they have to move back if they want to run.
Yeah.
And they are like super like, let me see your
Yeah.
bib, let me see your bib. They're crazy about it.
And that, I mean, I feel like that is for the benefit of everyone that they
Yeah.
get
It is
the people who have been
100%.
able to prove that they can run.
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
I would not do that to someone who had proven that they could run faster, because one thing that, I don't know if we're getting ahead of ourselves.
We're getting a
or
little bit
whatever,
ahead of
but
ourselves.
we all know what it's like to be stuck behind walkers or slow
Yes.
people for
Yeah.
a stretch, and you're like, I'm good, I want to
Yeah.
go, and you
Yeah.
are walking.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
It's-
this is not.
It's equally as vexing to get stuck behind someone who is walking through the castle, knowing there's a
Yes.
photographer on the other side.
I'm like,
You're like, come on!
Mhm.
It's such a tight squeeze.
yep. Anyway,
Well, we've kind of, I mean, so I had
we've
planned
already,
to kind of.
we had already gotten some good questions. so I
Yeah,
guess
yeah,
that's
we
why
definitely.
we've
No,
kinda-
I love
Yeah.
the questions. We
We could always
kinda
double back.
wove this into like step by step by step. So since we've already kind of touched on reporting a time so that you can get into your corrals,
Right.
let's talk a little bit about registration. So you guys have signed up for far more races than we have. And I'm sure that the registration process has been mostly the same every time. Have you noticed any evolution?
Better now,
I mean,
a little bit.
I feel like it was a little easier to sign up 9 years ago. It
there
wasn't
wasn't as
like an
many runners.
immediate sellout situation. But then even obviously it was like the first race back, or it was Dopey. We tried to, so when we signed up for Dopey for 2021, right? Or no, 2022.
2022.
It was like there for like days,
Yeah.
maybe even a week. So then when this new one came up, I was like, oh, we have time, we'll just wait. And then like, I don't know if you guys tried to sign up for any of those marathon weekend races, but they were gone in literally minutes.
Yeah.
So I was like super bummed, but Honestly, I think that's just because at the time that we signed up for Dopey, people were still a little leery about being around a lot of people. And then now, like, obviously people are more comfortable, but
it's always been kind
it's
of
always
sellout.
been a sellout.
Like, we always have both phones going and the computer trying
But
to
the
get.
big ones were always like, okay, we have some time to really think about it. But yeah.
Yeah, for ours, I honestly don't know why. I kind of do know why, because the first half marathon vlog I ever saw was a Princess half marathon vlog, and I think it was from 2018. And honestly, the vlogger that I saw doing it put together a really great video, and I don't think she's vlogging anymore. But that video was just like, it made it seem so like magical and inspirational, and I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna set a benchmark for myself, it's gonna be that. Like, it's gonna be the half marathon Princess. So I wrapped my head around the Princess, thinking that was the fun one that I knew. You run back and forth to the Magic Kingdom, you run to the castle, you do this, that, and the other thing. And I kind of had an idea of what to expect. And so that was the one that we targeted. And that is one of the most popular races.
It is.
At the time of year, it gets people. It gets people like us who are in the Northeast, where we're freezing to death that time of year. It gets you out of the cold.
But it's still comfortable enough to run.
It's not as likely to storm, although it did. It wasn't as likely to
the
storm.
dry season, I guess.
Yeah. So the Princess sold out pretty quick. At least the higher tiers, like I think the 5K and the 10K, they stayed open a little longer. But
I would have thought that the half would have stayed open longer, but I guess that's more people want to do.
I think the half is because you run back.
I guess they want to do the challenge.
The challenge. Yeah, I was gonna say the challenges. Like, this is like the challenges. Like, this was the 19 miles or whatever. Like, I feel like those ones were, at least in my past experience, kind of like okay, we have. Like, it's not going to sell out immediately, but like, things change, and people, just Disney in general has been getting busier and busier, and like everything's just, busy. And not to say that these races weren't sellout popular like forever, but I feel like lately it's been a little crazier.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think, revenge travel is also having an impact.
It is.
Or people like just wanting to like get out there.
I mean, we were not. We were not that active prior to COVID, and I think
it became like a bucket list kind of thing to do.
It's awakened travelers in us.
I can see why that may also be someone else's motivation.
Which I think is awesome that running can bring so many people. Like, something like running, like I don't know. It's cool how Disney is like really made doing something that kind of sucks when you think about it fun. So I mean,
training sucks.
It does.
I had done a 10K and several 5Ks for many years, mostly for like, charity races and stuff like that. And he was never ever showed any interest. And then he's like, but if I did it for princess.
Chasing them princesses.
You gotta look good for them princesses.
And then I was like, and when he said he wanted to do it, I was like, sure. I was like, I think you can do a 10K. You can do it. He's like, I'm doing the half marathon. I'm like, what?
But I'm so glad I did it though.
Go big or go home.
This remains to this day the greatest physical achievement I have ever had. Like,
that's awesome.
This right
you guys
here.
killed it.
This is all I have to my name in terms of like physical achievements. But this is mine. I earned this.
You did earn that.
Which is like what I think Disney is really good at, making you feel like you worked for it. It was magical. You did it.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, like, you walk around, you can go straight to not a lot of people do, and a lot of people do, but you can go straight to the parks immediately after. It's still before open for most of them when you finish. Yeah.
My medal.
You got to show it off.
I didn't realize we were supposed to wear our medals like the whole rest of the week. So I saw like medalists walking around all the rest of that week.
Like, it's been 5 days.
You go around.
Congratulated. No one knows I did anything.
You hear the clank.
You'd be clinking. You'd be clinking for a week.
Multiple medals.
Yeah, Mitch has got a photo somewhere in the slideshow here. It's like 8 medals across his chest. And I'm like, now mine doesn't feel as shiny, Mitch.
Hey, I'm in the same boat as you are right now. That was my biggest physical achievement, and it really broke me down.
Well, I mean, we're talking about our half marathon. I mean, Mitch.
But everybody starts somewhere, just like our friend Morgan. She's about to do a 5K and a 10K, and she'll build up, and each time is that same thing. you know.
Oh no, the fact that I actually know someone who did the Dopey Challenge, though, I just feel like you're a celebrity, man.
Oh,
He is a
thanks.
celeb.
It is
I
cool.
just think it's cool.
Still envious.
And
That
you
was envious.
you did it, and you still like are, running
Live,
and
yeah.
not hating life or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I did hurt. I hurt for a month after that because there was a time where I think that I should have quit. And yeah.
But you're not injured. So.
But that's it
Yeah,
too.
we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Yeah. I knew
we're
that I
glad for
wasn't
that
in
too.
injury.
Knowing your limits, but also knowing where you can push past them.
Exactly.
Kind of like the basis of all running.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, Katie and Devon have both had troubles with injuries in the past, so
Yeah.
it's not like we haven't
Should
learned
I
lessons
have
along the
run a
way.
half marathon on my ankle? Probably not, but it's okay.
But it happened. I can change the past.
I can still use it a
Yeah.
little.
I nerd you popping in just to say that the only time I run through the parks is to get a churro or to get away from Big Al.
Oh
Why
my
not
gosh.
both?
Why don't we
Get
have
away
like
from
a
Big Al
Run
well with the
Disney
churro.
event where the characters chase you?
Yes,
That
can we
would
have
be
the country bears
so-
play the role of zombies? And
Right?
Or, like,
Yeah,
the
That'd be
villains?
great.
Oh, that would be
I'd
so
feel
fun.
bad
that
for
would be
the
great.
I'd feel bad for the people working inside the costumes.
That's
though.
Yeah,
true. That's
well,
true. They have to take
put them on
turns.
Vespas.
They have to take turns. And then
Oh, that'd be so
Can
great.
you imagine, like, instead of the balloon ladies, it's like the Maleficent
Oh
like,
my god,
float
that would be amazing.
I would lose my race every
Yeah.
time.
in front of the
I would get picked up
Maleficent
every
float.
Dude, I would want to hang back.
I would.
I know,
That would
She
be every
actually
time.
breathes fire on you if you can see.
You're
It's like, you feel the heat? That's Maleficent.
Disney magic.
like, that's amazing.
She'll just roll over people's bodies. It's like,
Oh my
relax. Sorry.
This took a really
It's
dark
getting
turn.
really dark.
I love it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Sorry, I'm still in like spooky
So
season.
so in summary, sign up early.
Sorry. I'm really good at keeping us on point here.
If you want to have a good time, sign up early.
Yes.
Yeah,
100%.
The Princess Marathon. Hang on, let me get the banner out. We want people to subscribe to you, but we want them to be able to read first. The Princess Half Marathon usually takes place around February. There's multiple different events every year, as anyone who's looked into Run Disney probably knows. The Princess Half Marathon is at a desirable time, so these typically sell out a little bit quicker. And these, they just like last week released the art for this 2023 run and
What do you
started
guys
the
think?
countdown clock. Yeah, it's cool.
I like it too.
Minimalist.
Mhm.
But I think it's June 21st that registration opens for the Princess Marathon, which is
Soon.
like 8 months before the actual event, and it will sell
Yeah.
out in minutes.
It will.
So
Was
if
that the
you're
artwork for it?
interested,
You kind of have to know you're committed.
you got to know exactly which race you want to do. You got to have the money in the bank, and you got to register like as soon as it opens, and you got to not look back.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then once you're registered, you got to figure out where you're staying.
Yeah.
That's second.
Do that
Honestly,
immediately after.
Immediately after.
Yes. Book a hotel ASAP for sure.
So I did kind of leave a slide at the end of every other slide talking about like tips and tricks. Do you guys have anything special that you would recommend for registration besides what we've already covered?
Maybe multiple people.
You'd have like
If you
different.
could have multiple people going in. I know that one year a lot of people actually got in through the computer instead of the phones.
Yeah.
And it was just
I
like a
remember hearing
weird
about that.
Yeah, I think, and then just know that like you can sign up multiple people. You don't have to individually do it. So once some person gets in that queue, then you can go ahead and sign up your friends or family members. So that's always great.
Yep.
Other
And that
than
is in line with like getting a boarding pass and
Yeah.
entering the D23 membership previews and whatnot. Like that's
Mhm.
just Disney as a whole. Like if there's a special event that's going to sell out quick, go in multiple
Well,
times.
You need to add
there is
multiple,
another
yeah.
trick now. You have to be part of their club, their Run Disney
yeah.
club. So you could pay extra and then you get early. But I mean, I don't know what that price is, and I'm
Yeah, I
sure
don't know
it's
anything about
Disney price.
Right.
So if you're
I mean,
committed
if you're
to
going
running
to
it the whole
run-
year,
Yeah, I also don't know a ton about that, but I do know that it does, over the long haul, save you a lot of money and give you a lot of
Yeah.
early access and stuff like that. So if you're going to, if you know you love running and you enjoyed your Run Disney race so much that you're confident you're going to come back multiple
Yeah.
times, then Maybe.
That might be worth.
Yeah.
I think it would work out if you're planning on
Yeah.
doing multiple runs.
It's kind of like, your annual pass. If you're going
Right.
to use it enough,
It's worth it.
it's worth the money. If you're not, then you just paid for one expensive ticket.
Exactly. Yeah.
One really expensive ticket.
Hope you got your discounts on the merch you wanted.
Multiple votes for Country Bear Zombies, guys.
I would love that. I mean, I would love that.
Disney After Dark.
Right.
Hashtag Disney After Hours.
Disney villain zombies.
Vanessa brings up a good point too. You can book. There's no consequence for booking and canceling a trip
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
don't book it
That's
within
usually
30,
how
or
you
cancel it
roll.
within 30 days.
Yeah. Once the
So
dates
you
are announced,
know, yeah,
get on it.
right. Worst case, you could be like, well, I didn't get into the race, but I know I have a place to stay that weekend, so
It's true. You
So
can
the
make a
parks-
Disney trip out of it.
All the parks
Will
will be packed.
overrun by racers.
Yeah.
yes, they will. Absolutely. I think our
Our
first
first experience with Run Disney was
Was not
not
running.
knowing that Run Disney was
Like-
there that weekend. And we're like,
That's
where
awesome.
are these people
why
in
is
matching
everyone
shirts?
wearing the medals? And did something just happen? Did we miss something cool? And we did. We missed
Yes, you
something
did.
Something very
I think,
magical.
and it was the princess.
cool. It was.
And that year they had Rapunzel on their shirts.
No.
Didn't even know.
Mm,
No,
you messed up, kid.
What year was that? Do you remember?
That was
2020.
2020.
Oh, okay.
You guys,
It
you
was
guys
the
ran
last.
that one.
It was
We
the
really
last
ran that one.
princess because
We
in
had to do
2021 they didn't do them. It was the last race before they stopped doing them.
Well, they did virtual in 2021, didn't they?
Yeah, but was that?
No, man.
No.
He's fine. Dave. Why are you? He's Max is fine. All right, our cat. What's going on
Hold
here?
on. Animal House.
Sorry, guys.
The zoo.
Our cats are very curious as to what we're doing. So. Okay, we're
All right,
good.
Mitch.
Cool.
This
It's
is
a
your
lot.
area of
There.
expertise, man.
I
Talk
mean,
to us about training.
So when I was training, I had to go to Mitch with a lot of questions because Mitch has done this multiple times, and I feel like you almost have to start over every single time to some extent. Like your body starts
100%.
remembering, but I feel like at my peak, I could do a 10-minute mile, and when I started training for this half, I think I was down to like a 6.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
I mean,
Be consistent. That's like
Yeah.
the biggest step I could ever, no matter how slow, how fast, as long as you consistently give yourself the time to go out there and do it, then it's going to make it way less miserable for you. That's basically,
yeah, I'm gonna
What
say
is-
like depending on what you're running, train for that. Everybody's gonna be different. Everybody learns. I run intervals, so it's like 3 minutes on, 1 minute off.
Mm-hmm.
which is what I like working with too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm.
I mean, I like the Jeff app. I mean, it's kind of hokey on the music part, but it definitely works. If you don't know anything, he'll give you nutrition and stuff like that.
Yep.
That and you want to get. And it's weird, but you want to strengthen your ankles because Disney's not perfect. You're going to be running on
Mhm.
angles, uphill, drop offs if you're passing people in the
How
grass.
about running through the trolley tracks? And
Oh, no,
Magic
yeah.
Kingdom?
Running down Magic
That can
Kingdom.
really-
Oh
your
my
ankle.
gosh. Because
So
you're
my
like,
down-
it's
There's
a
a
magical
minimal amount of
moment and you
space.
see the castle and the sunrise is coming up behind
Yeah.
you. And I was like, this is so cool. Do not break your
Oh, no,
ankle in
exactly.
Disney World.
Yeah, that's sketchy part to run for sure.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say too is what my downfall was I only ran and I didn't do any cross training. So in previous years, I was much more fit. I was doing a lot more weights and like body weight exercises. So my whole structure was much more strong. And this year last year I only ran. And so I
was
think
this year?
that it was, training was last year,
training.
but yeah, so I think that just if you plan on doing something that's like a longer run, that I think just incorporating some kind of body weight strength training kind of thing
Yeah.
would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got cat hair on me.
What are your guys' thoughts on like you see like these videos where people say like I ran the half marathon with no training? Like
Oh, I haven't seen that.
You are
Well, I know people do it all the time.
you're the
but it's
captain
like,
of your own ship. Like I have seen a lot of people power walk it. You have to
Yeah.
have at least a 16-minute mile, so it's definitely doable. I mean,
Yeah.
but you're going to be in the sun for a
I
long
feel like you're not going to
time.
enjoy it as much if you're not
Yeah,
able.
Yeah. That's what I like to emphasize. Like, yeah, you can do it, but first of all, number one, it's not as rewarding. Like, if
No.
you trained and you know, and if you worked for it, it's more
Yeah.
rewarding.
I agree.
It's safer to train.
Yeah, people
for-
fall out all the time. I'm sure you guys
Yeah.
probably saw when you were running, people were maybe in the medical tent fainting, maybe
Yeah.
fell. Like, I
Yep.
don't know.
Well,
People-
also when you finish the race and you literally have to, now I understand this might be the case for the marathon runners anyway, because science has told us that running marathons is probably not actually all that smart for our
Yeah,
bodies.
not great for our humans, but
But
Yeah.
when you do like a half marathon and you see someone has to be like wheeled around in a wheelchair with ice taped
Yeah.
all over their body, you start to wonder like,
what's going?
maybe
Yeah,
this-
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I was going to say something. I forgot.
it's okay. We can move on.
Yeah.
Come circle back.
I mean, honestly, I trained so then I can still walk after. Enjoy
Yeah.
the parks.
yeah,
That's the
Recovery
goal.
is definitely
they don't like give you extra time to meet the characters.
No,
you have to
you have
get
to
in
fit
those
that in.
lines.
Yeah.
take
You're
the
not going to
picture.
hit every single character.
Yeah,
So like,
unless if you're running a 6-minute mile in first corral and you can.
No, yeah, there's
if you're running a 6-minute mile, you probably care more about finishing than characters.
Right,
anyway.
right. You want to win the race, but yeah.
If
So
you
just
wanna
like
see
keep
the
that in
character.
mind.
yeah.
yeah.
You wanna
I
be
never
able
really
to-
stopped for characters personally because I always felt like if I stopped, I wasn't gonna be able to continue with the same momentum. And I'm not a huge character. Like I love the characters, but like I'm not. But I always felt like I was like I would go. Mitch would stop for a character, and then I'd just be like, meet up with me. But he's so fast that he's like, oh, pop in, get a character photo, and just like be right there. Walking as I'm like jogging, he'll be like at a fast walking pace. I'm like, you gotta go. Okay, you're tripping me out because like I'm like running and
Yeah.
our cats are going crazy. I'm so sorry.
I'm very interested to see what's happening in the backstage area.
Yeah. It's just the cat being a
Yeah.
hooligan.
He just wants love.
Um,
Come here. I know.
what was it?
Yeah.
If you wanna see the characters and really enjoy it, I do recommend training and also going to your local runs to get a time so you can have
Yeah.
the
Definitely.
higher corral. Because when I did the marathon, I stopped at almost every single character spot, and I rode the Triceratops spin.
That was so cool.
And
I would have barfed probably.
it's like I don't know, if you're gonna walk it and not train, you're gonna miss out on a lot of the characters because there's gonna be a long line.
Mhm.
So I do recommend putting your time in.
Yeah. Absolutely.
If you're gonna train or not, I don't. It's definitely personal for everybody. It depends on what you do. A lot of our first races, we didn't even stop for characters. We just ran it.
Yep.
Which brings me to, you don't want to go into Disney's thinking that you're going to get a PR
Yeah.
Right.
unless you're going for it. Go get
Right.
your local
Unless if
time,
your
get
goal
in
is
the
to
local
win.
corral, because you're going to be
Yeah.
there with 25,000 people, and it's just going to make you angry more than it is being magical, just running along with everybody.
And Nerd
I know
just
that's
said
long
the last
line.
time they were at the parks, they walked 15 plus miles. Can't imagine doing any of the races and then having a park day. It looked pretty silly
Yeah.
driving a cart after the race with the medal on.
I mean, people will do it.
I will say though, when we planned to do the race, it was always kind of like back of mind, like we want to go to the park and get some pictures with our medals because we have the memory maker from the Legacy Annual Pass that was carried over. That's
Yeah.
grandfathered in. So it doesn't cost us anything to get photos in the parks.
Yeah.
We have annual passes, so we can just walk in as long as we have reservations. So we made a reservation so that we could go to lunch and get some pictures. And we thought, that's probably all we're going to do because we're going to be tuckered out. We've never run 13.1 miles before. And by the time we were done with the race, we iced up a little bit. We took maybe an hour to we bought a little massage gun at the Expo Center.
Yeah.
We used
Yeah.
that with some Advil. We changed our shoes. We put on our actual race shirts because I didn't run in these.
I ran in.
You did run it that
I
one.
put my green one on.
And then we went out to lunch, and while we were at Animal Kingdom, we were like, Flight of Passage sounds good. I think we've earned Flight of Passage. So we walked to Flight of Passage, and then we walked to the Tree of Life, and then we walked to Expedition Everest. And then
What was your total steps that day?
Yeah,
You
and then we
remember?
were like, you know what? Magic Kingdom's still open. I bet we can make it there. And
Steps count was off the
50,
chart.
wasn't
I
it?
bet.
It was like 50, wasn't it?
It was
yeah,
amazing.
I don't know how, like, your body just kind of finds the energy.
And
so-
honestly,
Yeah.
I think because I've done the thing where, like, my first 10K I ever did, like, I went to, like, my cousins afterwards, sat in a beach chair and, like, drank beer or whatever afterwards. And,
Yeah.
2 hours sitting in the chair, all of a sudden you stand up and it's like,
Oh,
holy
yeah.
crap.
You got to keep moving. It
So
really
keep
is the best.
moving after. I really think that actually helped with our next
does.
2 days of recovery, just
Yeah.
walking around the parks after.
I will also throw out this one pro tip that I learned the hard way, which is not to gross anyone out, but trim your toenails before you go for a long run.
100%.
true.
I actually have a good list here of stuff that you need to do.
It's on your list.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah,
And
that was,
true.
that was,
This could
and
be
actually,
part of
I
the
think later on, I pulled one. We asked for a couple questions on social media about like the first Run Disney experience, and one of them was like anything you do. I think that was honestly like my one thing that I would do differently
Yeah.
is, and it's not like nothing. It could have been much worse, to be honest with you. Nothing hurt. I didn't feel bad, but
Yeah.
my toes got really badly bruised up, and they still to this day have not healed entirely. Like they're still
like visually.
visually they're upsetting.
It's kind of like
Yeah.
ballerina feet.
Proper socks too. I'm gonna say
Yeah.
like my feet got tore up because I just wore some like crappy cotton socks that weren't like really running socks,
Yeah.
and I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
And I had the worst blisters, and then I had to continue on and keep running for the next couple of days, and it was so painful.
That was-
But yeah, socks are key.
One thing I definitely learned from one of my previous races was I just wore whatever ankle socks I had, and I was like, all right, I need like moisture wicking,
Yeah, blister
very
resistant. They're
conformed to-
expensive, but they're worth it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I did have a couple other training. If you're going to film or run in a costume, I would say train in it a couple times before or
Yep.
the whole
Yeah,
time.
that's true. Yep.
I don't get how people can be in like full on costume, like full on
Like a
wig,
full Winnie the
everything.
Pooh onesie.
Like, oh my
Oh,
god,
dude,
like,
that
wow.
some of them do shed those costumes
Oh, yeah.
mid-race. They'll just like throw them off. Like we
Yeah.
Winnie the
started.
Pooh was like around his ankles. by
Winnie
the
the
time
Pooh was at the like he was in the first corral when we were at our race. Winnie the Pooh, he was like at a full, and it was it was dark. It's February, sun's not up. It's like probably an okay temperature. By the
Yeah.
time he finished, number one, we were in the last corral and he was well behind us.
Oh my
and also, his costume was like down around his ankles.
Right. Oh my god, he was committed to keeping it. I would have been like, bye. Like,
Have
I
you
don't
guys have you guys seen the running Jack Sparrow?
Yeah.
That guy's a monster.
so good.
He's so good. No, like the guy who
I
does
honestly
the
don't
Run
have
Disney.
enough room to imitate it properly.
Yeah, it's so crazy.
Like he blasted past me. He was running like a 9 or something crazy.
It's kind of, I mean,
Maybe he's got fans somewhere under the piratey shirt.
Maybe.
He never broke character
Cool.
once either. He was just.
Oh, he's got to hurt after.
I
Can
think
you
that's how
imagine
he
your
constantly
body's got to be
trains.
like?
I mean, yeah, if you train with your arms above your head, I guess
Yeah.
that muscle.
Your
Oh, gosh,
back
I can
hurts
barely
so
like do my hair without my arms like.
right?
Like I braid my hair, I'm like, oh god.
It is. It's rough.
this is, I pulled this direct from the
Oh,
Run
yeah.
Disney website.
They do have a training. thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is Jeff Galloway's training too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
this
it
is Jeff
is.
Galloway. So this Run Disney will give you on the Run Disney website after you've registered for an event, you do have this like training tab where you can go into the individual event like 5K, 10K, half marathon, marathon, and they have a recommended training program for
Mhm.
you. And I personally did not stick to this perfectly.
Me neither.
Because I actually used, I think Mitch, you recommended Jeff Galloway's app to me, the half marathon, and I think it's called Lolo.
Lolo.
Yeah.
The
Lolo.
Lolo.
Lol.
Yeah. It's a little outdated, but
God, it's actually a terrible app.
it is.
But
LO
I like the
13.1 half marathon. It's the app that I have, and
I still use it.
Yeah, I do too. It was, I think, interval training that you mentioned earlier, where it's like you set your interval and you decide what your body's capable of.
Yeah.
My interval is 2 minutes running, 1 minute walking, 2 minutes running, 1 minute walking.
When
And
we start,
yeah,
No,
the app
okay.
keeps track of everything.
Yeah.
And I found it to be really, and Katie actually started, we have the Bose headset, the wireless that we just split between us, and I would run the app and we would,
Oh, nice.
And there's usually like those pacer groups that will on the intervals. So that's a good, I think if I wasn't running with someone who had like the pacing going on, like I'd recommend the pacer groups also because
100%.
they will make sure you finish, but they will make sure you finish safely, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is my incremental progress using the app,
Yep.
which it counts down. I actually really like the app. I think, like you said, it's a little bit old fashioned, and Jeff only has so many phrases, so you'll start hearing the same ones over and over and over again. But it does help you kind of keep track of everything. And then he does as you get further along, he introduces the magic mile test, which is where you run your heart out for the intervals that you set, instead of trying to keep up with a fixed, like, manageable pace. It's more of a progress barometer to see how you're growing. And I found this really helpful. I still use it, like, even now, because cardio, I hate cardio. I've always hated cardio. I will never love cardio. But cardio is critical to everything that we're doing with our bodies on a daily basis. So you have to do it.
Yeah.
So I'm like in the gym. I'm nowhere near where I was with the half marathon training in terms of like how much I'm running now, but I'm in probably once a week on average, some weeks less. Just trying to run like 3 miles and call it a day. And the app really helps me like manage so that I don't get like out of breath and feel like come off the treadmill.
That was one thing that we noticed while we were doing our race was like, I was like, I have not felt out of breath, or I'm not huffing and puffing. Like we're running past people that are, but we were like, I guess we're not doing too badly. Well, mile 10 was definitely awful.
You hit a breaking point.
But
when things start to go down,
like up to like mile 8, I was like, I am unstoppable.
But now I'll ask, where did you stop training at? Was it mile 10?
I didn't it was probably mile 8 that I think I stopped at because in case anyone forgot, or I forgot to mention, I twisted my ankle 3 weeks before my race.
I remember that.
Yeah, and she wasn't about to go hard.
So instead of trying to get up to like, because I think people recommend, we have talked to some other runners and they were like, if you can get up to 10 miles for a half marathon, you can finish. You're
adrenaline after that. Yeah.
And don't run more than that because you don't want to overtrain. And instead I was like, well, I'm just going to make sure that it doesn't hurt too bad while I'm on it. So instead of going like up to 10, I was pretty much sticking around no more than 5 miles in a given run for the last like 3 weeks. So it was more, and I focused a lot on ankle rehab. So trying to get that to like strength training and getting the balance back in my ankle so that my body could trust it again.
Yeah.
And I did run with I can't remember the name of it, but it's the kind of big ankle brace that kind of like crosses over your ankle, and it has like kind of like, it's like a kind of splinting. I did run with that because my cousin, the sports medicine therapist, recommended it. And I was grateful for the extra support too. But yeah, if I could do it again, would not twist my ankle and would get up to 10 miles.
Everyone at home listen to that advice, okay?
If I had it to do over again, I wouldn't injure myself.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Right.
Same.
Have you guys heard of this Couch to 5K app that Vanessa said?
Yeah, that's where we started.
Yeah,
originally
we started running in
2013.
12, I think. Yeah, and I used it. Yeah, it is. But it's for more. I don't know if Couch. So this interval one that Jeff's is consistently like, what is it? Can you choose your own intervals, right? Like you can choose. So I think Couch to 5K kind of might make you do like certain amounts, and then it starts to build you into like full on running, like consistent running without having the interval breaks. If what I can remember, but that was like 10 years ago, which I loved that app. It got me to run. It got me running, and it was incredible feeling when you actually completed the training program.
Yeah.
It's like, dang.
To be honest, my first race, I trained barely at all, and I smoked cigarettes.
Yeah, we did smoke cigarettes.
So when I got done, I was like,
After the race, we were like,
That was
that's so crazy to think about. But
I remember not being able to walk the next day at all. I laid in bed the whole day because I didn't train.
Yep.
It does add up.
It will get you.
It comes back to haunt. Actually, believe it or not, everyone was telling us when we were training, like when you're done with your half marathon, you're going to be laid up the next day. But we actually got up and went to Boma, and we walked around, and then we went to the park with you guys in the evening.
I did hit the hot tub a couple of times.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame.
And you were
in
active
that.
afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So like that's very important.
That's what
I
I
was not any worse off than I think I was during training. Which is why I think the training is so, like, if you could, to go back to Katie's original thing, like running a half marathon without training, there's a bunch of those videos out there that have that exact title. Like, we ran this with no training.
Now,
and we're like, now put up a video of the next day.
Right.
And
Right.
tell us
Yeah.
if you're like-
and I will say, even this happened to me. That was kind of scary. And you guys maybe have experienced this before. I didn't go back to the gym for like a week. Like we were at Disney. Actually, it was probably 2 weeks before I went back. And all I wanted to do was just do a little like light jog. I didn't want to go crazy or anything. Immediately, both my knees hurt like I had arthritis. Like I was like, what is going on? What is going on? I'm like, did I just ruin myself? Like ankle completely fine. Both knees hurt so bad I couldn't even run.
Yeah.
And I freaked out and I started like Googling stuff. And it was probably because of like the increase in my interval from, basically 5 to 6, all of a sudden to nearly doubling that with, 13 miles. Basically, it just like stretched my body too far to increase my interval that fast.
Right.
So which I'm assuming happens to a lot of people that don't train or don't train it enough for, like the half marathon. So luckily, like it evened itself out, and I'm back to being able to jog how I want to jog again. But it was scary because I was like, oh my gosh, am I ruined now?
Like
do
injured
do I have no knees anymore?
At least I got my half marathon in.
So even though the day after I was like, this is fine, I'm feeling great. Like 2 weeks after, I was like, oh no.
Call her no knee protein. Yeah, he's got a real good point. The past 2 races that I done, I heard like moving afterward is some of the best recovery, and it really did help me to keep moving after the race, but also getting into the pool,
getting
into the hot tub, and keep just moving, and then get a bunch of rest for your next one.
I did remote work from the Animal Kingdom Lodge the day after, and I did make a conscious note to like get up and walk around the room every once in a while, so that I did freeze myself up. Like that.
Yeah,
I did not get to go to the hot tub while Katie was sick.
No, I was on my own.
But I did get to have breakfast at Boma, so I think I chose wisely.
Hey, I mean, you got to choose your battles, right? Like that's more important for sure.
Kaylee dropped this comment in that Katie did great even with
I know.
the ankle,
I'm
which
super proud of that.
I agree
I'm
with.
glad that I didn't do like permanent damage to the ankle. I mean, it's still, as I've learned from a lot of people who've had ankle injuries, like this ankle will probably never quite be the same again, but it's not. I've still been like, obviously we've done theme parks. I'm still exercising. There are some days when like my right ankle hurts for some reason, and I'm like, what? What happened? It was the other one that was injured.
Overcompensated.
I don't know. So, yeah.
Yeah, it is true. You start to put your weight in weird places, and then
Yep, it's happened to me too. If you guys are unfamiliar with our channel up until this point and you're interested in seeing us run the Run Disney race, we actually did vlog it, and we vlogged our training and the Expo Center. And Mitch and Devon have a whole collection of vlogs from Run Disney. So please do check those out. The Run Disney vlog, it was probably just the energy of the moment, but I really do feel like it's one of our better vlogs because we're just all the way through, just
raw emotion, yeah.
Which I think is what Run Disney does to you, which is why it's so addictive.
Yeah.
But it's an expensive habit. So.
That's true.
Like all things, it's an expensive
Yeah.
habit.
To be expected, right?
To be expected.
Mitch, any tips and tricks down on your piece of paper about training?
Yes, give us
I
the
do
tricks.
actually. If you're gonna run like a 5K, I'm gonna say if you want to make it, either train further than the 5K or faster and then run slower that day.
Yeah.
I think that helps for any speed, you know, unless you're getting into the half and the full, then, you know, you're just pushing along on that one.
Yeah.
Train on hills, even though Florida.
I see a good point on here that you wrote down. Be patient. That's such a good tip.
Yeah.
Because some days you're going to have amazing days, and then some days you're going to be like, what the heck? What's wrong with my body? But every day is different, and climate and everything can affect what you eat. Everything's going to make your training different, but it's all going to pay off in the end. So.
Yeah. Man, and I hate to say it, but try running without headphones one day. You'll learn a lot about yourself real quick.
I agree with that, actually.
I reject this tip.
I mean, there's nothing worse than being in the middle of a run and losing your headphones because.
Sure, yeah, no, that
we
has
definitely
happened.
we saw several AirPods on the ground. Several.
You'll learn a lot about what your brain's going through after that. You know.
And
your music disappears.
We did have the headphones for the intervals, and we did play music, but they do play music during the races, and
you can get away with it.
When you hit that stretch of road and there's nothing to look at, but you hear, "Let It Go" or something.
Yeah.
It's powerful, and you want to let it push you.
Show yourself.
Yeah. And sometimes they're playing like we had like Moana, How Far I'll Go going on like a big TV screen and stuff. So I mean, your music can motivate you and whatnot, but you do I think running without your music and practicing really being aware of your surroundings too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Run how you're trained. It's real easy to get caught up in the moment. And I'm not saying don't get caught up in the moment, but when you shoot off the starting line,
you're all hyped
sometimes
up.
you're running a lot faster than what you are, and then you get tired real quick.
It's happened so many times, actually.
Yeah.
You're also trying to pass a lot of people because there's so many people in the start when you're trying to go and you want to run. So then you find yourself running faster to kind of get around people, but then you start to realize you're never going to get around anybody. And that's just how busy it's going to be. So that's definitely a good tip, is to just like run like you're normal, however you've been training. Don't try to go fast because you're just like all hyped up.
You're in a sea of people, and that starting line, I mean, it's so easy. The fireworks are going and you're hyped and you're moving with the crowd.
But I save that last burst of adrenaline for the finish line. I would say. Yeah.
I will
Don't
say,
spend it at the start.
The consequences of ignoring tips like this, there's every half mile, there's a medical tent. And there you'll see like your first run, especially the half marathon, where you're running a substantial distance. The very first tent, half a mile into the race, we were running past, and that's actually in our vlog, but you'll see a staggering number of people at that first medical tent just pouring on the biofreeze.
Putting the biofreeze on like sunscreen.
That is so not good. Like if you need biofreeze after half a mile and you've got 12 miles and some change to run, that's really bad.
It is.
Not that, I don't want to encourage anyone to push past their body's limits either.
If you need something from the medical tent, go get it.
You shouldn't skip the medical tent if you are in urgent need, but you should also train to the extent where you don't necessarily need to stop at every medical tent to biofreeze yourself. If you're hurting that badly after half a mile, I would just power walk it and not try to push yourself.
other than that, I got, food is going to be different for everybody, because like you're getting up way earlier than you're normally training. So you'll probably be eating. I eat twice before I even go out to the runs because I don't know. I'm weird like that.
Well, there's so much time in between when you wake up and when you actually run.
True.
It's really hard to eat something that early in the morning, but it's so important to like at least get something in you.
But definitely eat. Or
Yeah.
On the
eat how
longer
you
runs,
train.
they
Eat how you train.
Well,
Yeah.
that's after you're done. They
Yeah,
give you
after.
No, you got a mid-range. You got a mid-range.
Oh, well, we got the
the longer
gummies.
one.
We got
for
the
half
electrolyte.
marathon, you get a little
We got
snack
the
in between.
electrolyte gummies.
Yeah, those aren't vegan, unfortunately. So we have to bring our. They have the, what are they called? Those like honey.
Oh, the gels.
No, they're like anyway.
Oh.
But yeah, so yeah, be prepared. Bring some gummies or gels or something to get you through too.
I think it's like I always do it like every hour because my one Fred said if you're hungry, it's already too late.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, we have a friend who runs like ultra marathons. She does 100 miles like continuously, and she just did like a 250.
Yeah.
But she
250,
only made it. Well, only
she made it 200.
190
Oh, yeah.
some miles or something.
Oh.
Like
Yeah.
she's
She's
an
killing
animal. Anyway,
What a
if you want
track
to see
record.
impressive, like just follow her. She's like, just ran 20 miles today. You're like, what? Anyway, hey Michelle, if you're watching.
More power to you.
Yeah.
I
mean,
would never be able to do that. That is
No.
impressive.
Yeah, she's
For
crazy.
me, I found that even like for like these short runs that I'll do, I can't eat a lot. Like,
No, yeah.
especially like I can't have
It
like a
sits in your
meal.
stomach.
Like we had like a big meal like on Sunday, and then I went out for a run, and I was like, I felt like it was just
Cramp.
coming up the
Yeah.
whole time.
Mhm.
So I think I did like I did a banana and a granola bar and just a little, like half of a cup of coffee, because they did have coffee in our hotel in the morning.
Yeah.
I assume they do that for the runners. And that's like, I just wanted the coffee because I didn't want to get like my morning coffee addict's headache. But
Yeah.
Lots of coffee.
But I
drink
needed-
lots of coffee.
I needed something, but it was the night. Well, we're going to talk about that. I
Yeah.
think
What is the night before?
the day before is when
Yeah.
Vanessa asked if it's best to hydrate a few hours before. I assume that's in deference to like right before.
I think that in the Jeff app, he says as long as you're not running anything over an hour, that you shouldn't overhydrate because it pushes on your stomach.
Sloshes
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
in there.
That also, I guess, but I train like
I try to
that.
drink
I
a lot
have
of
a
water
bottle-
the day before.
Yeah, I have
Yes.
a bottle of water, and every time I walk, I'll take a sip
Mhm.
just so I don't get dehydrated. But I think that's also with
You like to carry
Personal.
lots of water when you're running. It's hard for me to like, I know it's bad for me, but it's like really hard for me to drink water while I'm doing like long distance runs. But it's just something you need to force yourself to do. But he's like just like chugging. I'm like, I can't. But it's great because they do offer lots of hydration stuff. So
Yeah.
I would say
also every
never
half mile.
skip a hydration stop,
Mhm.
even if you're just getting like a
A
half
sip.
of a cup of
Yeah.
water, a couple sips. Just never.
Or
skip
some of
one.
them were like there's a water stop and then there's like a Powerade.
Yeah,
electrolyte
but
stop.
they will have both of them every time.
Yeah.
Every
you will-
stop.
so-
Yeah. I
So-
switch I'll do
Mhm.
water and then I'll do Gatorade. And then I
Yeah.
always have usually some sort of hydration in my water just because I don't know, I'm weird. Try to keep all the electrolytes coming in.
Nope. I like sometimes I like a little
Feel
something
you,
in
Jay.
my water. Yeah.
I feel you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wouldn't say like, but I
100%.
like Devin brought up like hydrating the day before. Like I definitely drank a lot of water the day before.
downside is you're up peeing all night.
Yeah.
And that's
So
the
gonna
other
happen
thing
anyway.
about
Yeah.
hydrating too much
Yeah.
before you go is
The bathroom.
it sounded like on our race there may have been less porta potties
Yeah.
than in past races.
Oh, there can be a
Right.
miserable lines
So-
for sure.
Every time, like I mean, to be honest, I had to pee real bad for like
Mhm.
an hour. And running when you have to pee real bad is not fun because every step is like,
That's when you sneak off into the woods.
Yeah,
I
it was
seen
bad. But every line was so long for the bathrooms, and I was like, I don't want to get behind in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And finally, we got to a porta potty line that wasn't so bad, and
We stopped.
I could
just-
finally pee.
Just like within the gates, like the parking toll gates of the Magic Kingdom, but just outside of the Magic Kingdom. I think it was the TTC we were coming into.
Yeah.
So we stopped just outside the TTC.
yeah, that bathroom
there
was
were
really
like
good.
8 porta potties, one of which was down, and a long line.
Mm.
Like go! Like someone is literally like waving there like an airplane coordinator.
Like as
go!
doors open, someone goes
Number
in.
4.
Doors open.
Number
someone
6.
goes in.
Number 3.
And then you were in line, and someone was like, "The balloon ladies are coming."
I think that was the troll.
Dress
I'll
you
be
up.
honest.
was
I think
because
we were
I
like well ahead.
never once
Yeah.
saw
But the
this.
panic that set in, like, no, we will not be picked up.
I mean, honest little trick about that is if you know where the bathrooms are in the park,
Yeah, it's.
Yeah.
almost nobody's are stopping it.
I usually wait for like when we're in the park.
Like,
I think it was
running
the
through
bathrooms.
TTC, you could hit either one on each side. You can break off that trail. They're open still.
I feel
You
like
just
there
gotta
were
fight your way through
some
the Chinese
bathrooms
drummers.
in the
Yeah, that's good.
Or the Japanese drummers.
They were
My bad,
they
I'm
were the TTC bathrooms. That line still was really long.
I mean, I guess
was-
unfortunately, all girls' lines are always
Yeah,
long,
that's-
no matter what in the whole world.
Yes, that is unfortunately
It is unfortunate.
often the case.
Mm.
But I mean,
And
Disney,
if I could easily commune with nature like men do,
Like pee with
That would
Bambi.
be-
I know.
that's what I was gonna say.
It does sound magical.
It's like you are at Disney, but there still is no rules. People are crazy.
I've
'Cause
seen
the
like
last
ladies
ones I've seen ladies
squatting.
drop trowel
Yeah.
right next to a speaker next
Yeah.
to the street, not even going to the
Dang.
woods. And I'm
She
like,
had to go.
well, if you gotta go, you gotta go.
Now it's making me have to go. Actually, sorry guys.
You're gonna
No,
leave
you're
me
good.
on
You're good. Vanessa says that's why
Fine,
she asked
you're with
about
me.
water. You want to be hydrated so you don't pass out. You don't want to have to go to the bathroom. Yeah, it's a kind of a.
yeah, definitely do not like a bottle of water or something before you start running is it's not a bad idea, but you do not need to like down 3 bottles.
That's usually
That's
what
one
I
of
run.
Mitch's running bottles.
I thought that was like dishwashing.
No, it goes in his running
Got
belt.
a holster on it.
I'm like Jay, I sip. So, like I said, I interval run, and then every time I walk, I'll just take a sip to keep my mouth from getting dry.
You know what? This is the last thing I'll say on water because I know we've beaten the subject to death. But I have seen just an astonishing number of people that look and act like professional runners, but then pick up a water cup and just do ooh, like throw it in their face.
That's a technique.
I mean, I don't think it
Cool you
hydrates
down.
you, and I don't think it cools you down. I think it's just
I mean, it will cool you down, but it's
Honestly,
not
very
hydrating
briefly.
you.
That would ruin my day because, like,
Yeah.
I hate it. Like, if I'm staying dry, I'm staying dry, and then once the sweat comes down, then I'm ruined. But if you throw water on there, then it's double.
Mhm.
What I do is I try to keep jogging a little bit and then take a sip and then inevitably inhale it instead of swallow it. And then I start going,
Yeah, like what happens if it
Right,
goes
right,
up
right.
your nose and then you're out of the race
and
because
then
you can't
and
breathe?
then I've done that
Right.
before where I inhale, like literally inhale it up my nose
Yeah.
instead of drinking it. And then I'll still start coughing and I'm like, I'm not dying. I just am incapable of being an adult and drinking from a cup.
100%. That's why I only drink when I walk because I am incapable of running and drinking. Like, I'll either like spray myself or something weird or inhale it, and I'll be like,
I just like had this thing about like totally stopping. Like we did take a couple character pictures, but I was like, I just gotta like keep going.
moving.
Moving. Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it always
Never
looks so
stop.
badass when you grab the water and you're like, think you can like drink it and run, and
Yeah.
it's like, no.
Yeah.
And then you wind up doing the face throw by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably miss.
That's,
I just end up
that's
like
your drinking problem,
waterboarding
Mitch.
myself and like
Just
all
throw
the
it on Devin. Oh, you still behind me?
That's what would happen. Oh my gosh.
I'm sure it would feel great actually.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. I got really thirsty while we were talking about that, so I've killed like.
I know,
3
like
My drink's almost empty.
I'll get you another water bottle.
Oh, thanks.
Let's talk about the Run Disney Expo, guys. We've kind of been talking about the race the whole time. We haven't officially even made it to the race yet on the slide.
There's so much to talk about.
There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot to cover.
I think the expo.
So
Go ahead.
correct me if I'm wrong, because we attended day 2 of the
You're
Run
good.
Disney Expo because our race was on day 3, but it actually opens 48 hours prior to the first event,
Yeah,
or somewhere around there.
I think it's a day
Is it
before.
the day before?
It's the day before, I
first race? I don't
Okay.
know. Don't.
I think
So
it's
if you
whatever
go-
the day
if you're
before,
running
so
the
you could
first
pick up
race.
your bib.
Yeah.
Like if the 5K goes on Friday, it's open Thursday.
Right.
I
But that means
believe
that on
that.
Thursday is like packed
Yeah.
because we went.
Because that's when all the Spirit jerseys
merch.
go.
Yeah.
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 There is a bum rush. I mean, it's Disney. There's always going to be a bum rush for merch.
I don't
Mhm.
know why I thought they would still have Spirit jerseys when I got there on
Man,
Saturday.
it was wild this year.
What was we went? Which one did we do?
It was
We did the villains.
For the wine and dine.
We were only 2 hours.
Literally,
was it 2
like-
hours late getting into the first,
Like the first
Day,
day,
and it was gone.
the
Spirit
Oogie
jerseys were
Boogie,
gone.
or it wasn't Oogie Boogie, it was
Jack.
the Jack's like Spirit jersey was totally sold out
Totally sold out.
with no signs of actually. But there could have been like limited like
Hmm.
merchant. I know they're having
That was before
supply
the
issues,
two.
but-
That was before the 2. You can only buy 2.
Oh yeah, well it's
Oh,
nice that they
limited
have a
merch.
limit.
Yeah, that was.
That's
Reseller. Anybody
relatively
could go in
recent.
there.
Those resellers. Ooh,
Sure.
they drive me crazy. It's like you
I
shouldn't
know.
be allowed in there unless you're actually running the race.
Or on
That,
the last
exactly.
day.
Like, I don't know why
Well,
you would
that-
want the merch if you're not.
Well,
running
they
the
want
race.
to
There
buy
wasn't
the Spirit
yet.
jersey and sell it for $150.
Yeah, but why would you want to buy a Spirit jersey for a
That's
race?
your
you haven't
because the
run?
people like us couldn't purchase it who are
Right.
running it,
that's
and then they
true.
sell
That's
it for
fair.
double the price.
It's
Yeah.
like scalpers.
If they get in there
Yeah.
first, they
Ticket
can buy it
scalpers.
out from all the people who are
Mhm.
actually. But then, how do you stop a scalper from running the race while actually?
That's true.
Not
I
by
mean,
the
They're
merchandise.
not committed.
You know what? If the scalper can run the half marathon, I'm willing to let
Right,
him.
exactly. If you have a medal, then whatever. But
If
most
you
of them are
don't-
not. Like it's so. I hate it. I hate it so much. I think it's unfair. But at least
It
there's a
is- it is
limit
absolutely
now.
unfair.
They really should have done that to limit to rule years
Mhm.
ago.
And for like
Yeah.
everyone.
And now it's like everywhere
It's
in the
everywhere
parks that
now,
you see
yeah.
like the
Yeah.
limit 2 per. So that's good. At least.
I mean, it doesn't stop people from coming back and
No,
rebuying.
Right,
Yeah.
but
go to a
Or
different
just-
store
Or you
Yeah.
bring your whole family.
come back
Right.
10 minutes
You
later.
don't see people walking out with garbage bags full
Yeah.
of merch.
That I will never get over that image of the woman carrying out the Splash Mountain, like a literal truckload of Splash,
Garbage
dragging
bags.
it on the ground
Bears.
'cause it's too heavy.
Oh, of the when they were
The
like
stuffed
closing
animals.
Yeah, on the
the-
Yeah.
day we haven't seen
Or
Splash
whatever.
Mountain match
When they
merch
liquidated
back
the-
since that opening
Yeah.
reopening day of Splash
That
Mountain.
was a
happened.
wild time.
That
We went and
was.
got a Rare Fox, I think.
Fox.
We were just
'Cause
like
that was like the
looking.
only thing
We're
that
like,
was
yeah,
left.
let's- like I didn't
Yeah,
even
but
know
you
what
got
was
it.
happening. Yeah, we got
You
it.
got it.
You
I don't
have
know
it.
where
You'll
it's
never
at.
get
like, I
another
don't
one.
even care about it. Like everybody's getting these. I guess I should get one.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? If you don't care about it, you can sell it for $300.
That's true. What am I doing?
Right.
Fund your next Run Disney
Fund the
race.
that will buy you a Run Disney ticket a day. So for those
Okay,
who do
next
not
slide.
know, actually let me. Boop. For those who do not know what the Run Disney Expo is all about, it's basically if you've ever been to like a huge Comic-Con or a con, this is like a running convention. It's all about Run Disney. It's where you pick up your bibs. It's always held at the ESPN Wide World of Sports complex, at least in recent years since the complex is open. And we didn't really know what to expect when we walked in, but we kind of spent the whole day here. It was
a
actually
lot of
enough.
fun.
We were going to merge it with the Run Disney, like the race vlog, but there was actually enough going on there that we made it its own vlog. And we had we planned to spend an hour there and we spent like 4 hours there.
Yeah.
It was
A
fun.
lot going on.
They have like a lot of, like, what you call it? Merch,
Oh,
but
yeah.
not like necessarily Run Disney merch, but
Yeah.
also
Oh,
like,
they have vendors.
right.
Yeah,
Yes. That's what I
local
was
running
Yeah.
track shack sets up. One year I saw Lululemon. Just like
Yeah.
some
They have like
They have like
Local.
people handing out like what did we get? Like those? It wasn't.
We got a massage gun.
Like, well, they weren't handing out massage guns.
No, they were not. That was about.
Dang, where was I?
Like, it was like the kids like go squeeze thing.
Oh yeah. They do have like the little pick me up pouches. And
Yeah.
They were doing like Impossible. The brand Impossible was handing out stuff that for
yeah.
Wine and Dine, and they're giving out free food like from the cafe, like straight up meals for free.
Oh, cool.
It's crazy.
That's wild.
They had like little at ours. There was like apple squash.
Apple squash.
Wow.
I love apple squash.
Wow.
They did. It was.
What's happening to my body?
They were giving out some sort of snack and go-go. I remember.
I think it was. It was not apple squash, but it was applesauce in a little squeezy bottle.
That's what I'm saying. The go-go squeeze.
Yeah, go squeeze.
I have one in the cabinet. I usually whatever we don't have, I usually throw in there, and it's
You got apple squash?
Probably got an apple squash.
It's in like every recovery box.
No, it's the thing now.
Sitting in there now, it probably is apple squash. You're like,
after a year, applesauce becomes apple squash.
So anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of. I remember the like running skirts were like flying off. Like people get like cute little pattern skirts. So a bunch of. I almost got one because I was like, do I want to look cute? And then I just was like, I just want to be functional tomorrow. I just want whatever I'm wearing to be like the most comfortable thing because I did not train in a skirt or anything else, so I didn't want to wear one.
Yeah. True. They're cute, but I can't imagine like not running in what I'm comfortable or used to wearing. So,
and that's a great point too, because you don't know where it's gonna rub.
Don't buy new shoes the day before.
Yeah, don't wear the shoes you bought at the.
Yeah.
I mean,
unless you're their exact same shoes, then you know what's gonna happen. But other than that, there's still a pair of brand new shoes.
Yep.
If you don't have everything that you feel like you need for a race, the expo is an opportunity to like pick some stuff up. Like you guys said, there's shoes, there's little snack. There was a whole wall of little power snacks.
Yeah,
there's everything that you could imagine there. You could get K-tape. You can probably get a Mylar blanket.
They definitely.
I don't know if we're getting into that. Are we getting into being prepared, or
should he save this for later?
Yeah,
I think the night before is the next one, and then the race. It'll fit anywhere in between, really.
Yeah.
Okay, so like if you're not coming here with these things, you're like, I think that a Mylar blanket, a poncho, and K-tape are pretty key, depending on how you train, because you never know what the weather's going to be here. One year it was like 20
degrees for our princess one year, and we were dying, and so we will never go to a race without a Mylar blanket. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah. And most races now, they'll give it to you at the end, so you'll either get the cold
which
snap
is like the
towel.
Shiny, if no one knows what that is, it's that shiny.
You look like a human burrito.
I have one if you need the visual.
No,
but like I said, like if it's cooler out, they'll give it to you at the end of like the 10K, and then you can reuse it for the others. But
but you can't bring it through the start because it actually messes up your chip. They make you ditch it beforehand. So anyway, off topic, but
I don't want to get and then I mean, you know how you train, but nipple covers. And
I'm sure they sell that at the.
If you don't,
it's funny to say, but it's actually very like.
If you don't have, what did I call that stuff? It looks like a stick of deodorant, but it's not.
That's
deodorant.
what I was just about to say.
Chasing block or whatever.
Yeah.
Some lube for your tender parts.
Like ladies, even if you don't think you get thigh rub, or men, if you don't think you get chest rub, you will. Yeah. So put a protectant on that.
Yeah, especially if you never trained that far. If you stopped at 8 and you still have to do 13, you might be getting rubbed in places you never rubbed.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm trying to keep it PG-13 here.
We appreciate that. You never know who could be tuning in.
I mean,
yeah.
I never had a problem before.
To get some apple squash.
Yeah, apple squash. I gained like 20 pounds, and then like running recently, I've discovered I'm like, oh, I get it now why people need these things. You know?
Yep.
And then also, if you're wearing like a running belt, make sure to pull your shirt out of it, because that's the biggest reason for me that got me chafed, because I never had that
the shirt
problem.
was staying stationary,
Yeah, it was staying
but
so
his body
tight.
was moving. So make sure things are fitting right.
He knows.
Don't sleep on the nipple covers.
Yeah. You can get some tassels too. It's
Bring your nipple tassels.
Oh Lord.
Sorry,
guys. If nothing else, you can always find it at the expo.
You can get tutus at the expo.
Is there anything we have not covered from your tips and tricks for expo days?
I think we're good.
Be patient, because it's going to be a lot of people.
Well, especially if you're running the 5K or the 10K, it sounds like that's the only day. Like the first day is the only day you can go.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be the day where they release like the exclusive or limited edition merch. So,
yeah. I mean, that is the tip. You get there early. Get there as early as you want, because if you want, or even actually go to the merch first before you even go in there.
Hit your bib
Get
later.
your bib anytime.
I feel so when we did Expo Day, our travel day, like our flight to Orlando was that morning. On our Expo, we had to go that afternoon, and we had the extra day if we needed it. But
I have a tip too that I just remembered. They will give you little bobby pins for your bib. I would have some extras at your hotel,
in case you have
or even
Butterfingers.
try asking for extras at the registration, because only one set of bobby pins ended up back at the hotel room with us, and I had to go ask concierge in the morning, and they were able to locate some bobby pins for me. Not bobby pins, safety pins. I kept saying bobby pins.
Those are like gold for us. They like never let us hand out safety pins, by the way. So that's so funny you
That's
said
a
that
great
at the
tip,
front
because
desk.
I always keep a whole bag every time we
And
race.
I have
my old
like
bib.
I have some, like a big box of them from like our wedding, because I knew the safety pins are a good thing to have. And for other races, I remember doing them, but for the Disney one, I didn't. And then in the morning, when we were getting, or actually at night when we were setting our stuff out, I was like, I only have one pack of safety pins. Who's gonna? I'm like, we can't. We're just gonna like hold on the bib as we run.
As a last resort, you can. I mean, like,
The tip for that one is you got two diagonally on each of you.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that
just
is a good
little
tip.
more annoying to like swipe by it, depending on how you. I do a lot of arm pumping.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah, well, the same could be said about wearing a GoPro, which is what we did for our.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, and that was one thing. We did not train wearing GoPros.
We did not.
But it ended up not being. I was expecting that to be a lot worse.
The GoPro is a very lightweight camera, so it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
But I also I got a. What I should have done is I should have trained wearing that phone pouch, because I got a little zipper pouch to put my phone in, because I knew, like, worst case scenario, I got my Magic Band, I got my phone, I can like pay for things with my phone. They also give you clear plastic bags to like bring a bunch of your stuff with you. So it's not like you get on the bus and you don't have like your wallet or your keys or whatever
Run
you
with
need.
the backpack.
Right. You come with all of that stuff. It's just got to go in a trailer during the race, and you go and pick
whatever
it up
you don't want to run with.
But the phone, I figured I would need, because that's got our Jeff Galloway app on it, if nothing else. So I was like, I don't want to hold that in my hand, which is what I did for our practice run.
Right. He always
that was
practiced
terrible.
Running with the phone in his. I had an armband for my phone.
I went and we got a running store near us called Charm City Run, which is based on the Baltimore being Charm City. And it's a very small store, but it's got pretty much everything you could ask for, as far as like, it was kind of like its own Run Disney Expo packed into tiny space. So I went and bought, like, the weekend before the race, I went and bought a new cap to keep the sun off my head, and I got a sling to put my little phone in, which meant that I hadn't practiced running with the sling at all. So like, it was good for the first 5 miles, and after that it was like swinging up and hitting me in the face.
He had it like crossbody. He switched to crossbody. He'd hold it for a little bit.
That'd be so frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, you're going. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Your body starts out fine, and then it starts saying this random thing is uncomfortable,
Bothering me. Yes.
I mean, we
For
all
sure.
break the rules. I bought that vest for the marathon, and I only trained in it one day. But I put it was terrible. I put all the water in it too. I don't know what I was thinking. It was 2 liters of water.
So much,
Well,
so
that
heavy.
means you gotta hydrate to continue moving at a good pace because you
It
We
was.
needed
Yeah.
those when we were training, those when we were marathon training, that was necessary because we're out in the middle of nowhere for 20 miles.
And it
Obviously,
was summer.
but when you're at the Run Disney races, it's not necessary because
Right.
they have water everywhere. So
right,
Yeah.
anyway,
which is nice.
Yeah.
ladies back.
Ladies back.
Ladies
Hi,
back.
lady.
Hi, lady, you crazy little lunatic.
Night before.
This is what you were talking about, Mitch, with eating and making sure. Well, this actually maybe because I feel like everyone benefits from carbs the night before, but maybe not the morning of.
Yes. That's for
I-
Would
me.
you concur?
I just train how you train. Eat how you train.
We usually eat bagels in the morning. We'll bring peanut butter and just plain bagel and just
In the
And-
morning before.
in the morning. Yeah, that morning. Personally, I feel like that keeps me because it's such a long time. Like I said, between waking up and actually running, and then the run takes however long, up to 2.5 hours or longer, 3 hours, and then so I personally need something a little more substance than just a banana to get me through. But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone's different as far as what feels good and to them. So
Problem with us at Disney is
yes,
there's not a
that
lot
is a
of
great pre-race meal.
This is
is
our
what-
night before meal.
Yeah.
We just
That's
stuffed
should
bread
be
service in.
mandatory, actually.
There's not a lot
So
of
much
great
more.
options for vegans
Yeah, I
in
mean,
the
it's-
Disney properties.
be a little different.
It's usually just a Beyond Burger, so they don't usually change our diet when it comes to running.
We can find some pasta
We could
somewhere.
find pasta. Pasta's always
Mm-hmm.
primo for us for a pre-run, but like she said, it's bagel, peanut butter, and a banana in the morning.
That
And then-
I'm lucky to have a personal trainer who helped me kind of prepare on the fly for the half marathon, giving me pro tips, adjusting my routine for more cardio intensive, which did actually, it's funny because we had started out doing weight training, and when I told him that I wanted to do a half marathon, he's like, all right, we got to rebalance then because what you're doing with weight training is going to be burned off in your cardio.
And
You're
It was
working too hard.
opposite for me, like Devon mentioned earlier, making sure you are cross training and you are doing some weight training and whatnot just to strengthen your body. I was always just doing my jogs a couple times a week, and then I started doing personal training as well just to help me with the half, and it definitely really helped. My core, my balance. Honestly, I did. Now the ankle injury came during one of my personal training sessions, so that was the only bummer. But it still, I think, was overall so helpful.
It is.
To have that. So the fact that we had a lot of people in our corner getting us ready, like you guys with all your training advice, both of our personal trainers. Tim's is a nutritionist, so he could help us with that. So just pull your resources.
Now, having said that, he would give me advice and I wouldn't always follow it. So it's not like you can have all the advantages in the world and it still comes down to you to do the work.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I have
You're
not
only
I'm not
human.
a model student in that regard, but I think going with Sanaa's bread service the night before, I don't really regret that. I mean, it kind of sat heavy overnight, but by the morning time, I didn't feel like I was starving before we set out.
It was perfect because, like I had mentioned before, if we eat and then an hour or two later I run, I feel every bite. But the night before was plenty of time, even though we were getting up at 3 a.m. or whatever.
Crazy.
Feels like you just ate and then you got up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, we tried to get an earlier reservation and it just wasn't happening.
Yeah.
I think our reservation for Sanaa was 8:30
7
or 7.
7:30.
But yeah, that's a late. Oh yeah, I
Oh, yeah,
remember you
'cause-
guys had a later. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a
We
really
wanted to
late
eat at like 5 and try to go to bed, but
Yep,
that
we were trying to hook you guys. It was your fault.
stop.
Sorry, guys.
Selfish Devin had
It's
to work.
okay. The mouse was keeping her at work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay says weight training is great. Too much muscle is bad for a marathon. Big guys don't have the best.
Yeah.
I mean, those runners
Yeah.
are slight usually.
Yep.
It's funny. It's cool though. Funny and cool, really, because you expect to see the most athletic of people, which, by the way, I am not. You expect to see the most athletic people running these races, and you have just such a wide range of body types.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Some of the
100%.
people that, objectively you might have a visual bias of that person is going to finish last. Sometimes they come in first. They
Yep.
start in the last corral and they finish before some of the people that started in the first corral.
And you
Yeah.
don't know what training they've done.
Yeah,
They could be.
It really did. It comes down
Exactly.
Mhm.
There was
It
a
is
guy.
really inspiring.
to you. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Which
100%.
is part of what made me want to do it in the first place, because I've never been athletic. I have never been good at cardio, and I have never had, to be fair, the best body. But this was something that I saw someone else do with not no training, but a minimal amount of training because she wanted to do it for herself.
Yeah.
And, it's tough, but you take this home. Where is it? There it is. You take
It
this
is.
home and you're like, it's all worth it.
It is.
It's
because
always worth
it
it.
kind of gets you back on track too. Like once you
it's
sign up for
amazing.
something, like you are like, well, like now here we go. Like we used to sign up for races every year because it was always something to train for and keep us in check and keep us in shape. So
Yeah.
it's it's nice that I don't know, you always have something to look forward to with the Run Disney races and keep you in shape at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
before.
definitely.
But going back to what you were saying about everybody, is that there was a guy that passed me. I want to say he was like 6'3", definitely 250, and just passed me like I was standing still.
Or like super old people, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh my god, like I am like dying right now, and they're just like, phew. I'm like, okay, goals, you
Yeah.
know. So
It's crazy.
Or counter people like Winnie the Pooh that started in the first corral, and then the costume weighs them down.
Yep.
Yeah. They get
Like
caught up in the
everyone is
hype.
gonna have a radically different experience that day.
Yeah.
It's not. There's no consistent, like someone coming off of it and being like, "Oh, you'll do fine." Like you don't know that.
Yeah.
You don't know whether you all do fine. You don't know whether I'll do great.
Yep.
It's really down to you. And like,
It really is.
I mean, we'll get to the actual race in just a second here. But the whole concept of Run Disney is you work for it, you earn it, and then they push you through it. On the
Mhm.
actual race day, you do the most training, the best training that you can leading up to the day of. And on the day of, I think it's safe to say we were very nervous
Oh,
about
I'm so nervous.
like getting on the bus and like, okay, this is it. This is like either we're gonna finish or we're not. If we can't outrun the buses, then we're gonna get scooped up. But when we're actually running, there's, as you guys said, the music is pumping, and they have like the MCs every
Half mile.
3 or 4 miles. They're like, you can do it. Come on, push through it.
Yeah.
they have
And the
live
volunteers too.
Live.
Yeah.
They're cheering for you. It's a lot of volunteers, a lot of people on the sideline.
the cast members like standing
Mhm.
out there cheering for you. I mean, there's like I could start like tearing up if you're
Mhm.
a person like me. You're like, hold it, come on,
100%.
Yeah.
don't look at me. Oh, those like drummers. Oh, them.
Mhm.
They did put like the marching band at like the death mile. Which,
Yeah.
It was the death mile.
Which-
It is.
There's
Yeah.
only one in our race, at least. It might be different for other races, but in our race, there was only one segment that was truly uphill, and that was the on ramp to get
The
back.
on ramp to go back
And
up.
that happened at
Worst
mile
part of every race.
10 and a half.
Mhm.
10 and, like
It was-
literally, you're 3 miles from the end, and then they throw
no
the last
one,
year.
and we were all like
People,
last
you know.
corral people. No one,
Yeah.
no one was jogging.
No,
Everyone was
it was
walking.
a full on death
Everyone
march.
was just like,
That's a brutal part.
I have a picture of that from like 2015, and I always said it was like, because it was Walking Dead was huge then, but like you're looking at it and
It's
that's
just like
all
a
you
sea of
see is just
bodies on the road and
like
like
apocalypse
Yeah.
amount of people.
Zombie horde.
Yeah.
We are the zombies being chased by the country bears.
Exactly.
I'll put this slide up because it's there.
Race
But
day.
really what I wanted to get to here was just some of the images from, these are just straight from the GoPro, these first couple images. These I took like during the race. But this energy, like this vibe is what kept us going during our first race. And I think it's like consistent. I mean, you guys would know better than we would, but I think it is consistent from race to race to race. Just like seeing the parks as the sun rises, you and your fellow runners being the only ones in the parks, and the people cheering you on the sidelines, the characters, like this.
Indescribable, really.
It is.
Yeah. This is what makes Run Disney. And of course, like running through the castle, if you're on a course that charts through the Magic Kingdom, it's like, unfortunately, our actual photo op was blocked by someone who was walking through the castle. But just the sensation of running through the castle and
It's amazing. It really is.
So cool.
And then there are PhotoPass photographers throughout the whole course, which is why we asked Mitch and Devon to provide some of their own photos. There are character
That was the one
meets.
character we stopped for.
No, we didn't stop. No, we didn't stop for Princess Ada. You just kind of stopped to wave at her, but then you didn't actually get a picture.
Their line, believe it or not, Anna and Elsa's line was honestly not that long.
In comparison.
And we were already more than halfway through.
The rare characters, it seems, do develop longer lines.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
It would have been cool to get a picture with Mushu and
Genie,
Musketeers.
Princess Ada, Abu,
Musketeers Mickey
and Donald.
There were
so back in the day.
See them.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm done.
I was gonna say back in the day, it used to be like third-party photos. Like I don't remember the company, and then the last couple of years they made it Disney like internally like doing the photos. So if you do have memory, like if you have that photo pass, you get your photos for free, which is awesome.
And if you don't, I think it's worth it. But I guess I'm speaking from someone that has it.
I don't know how much it is.
I think your race photos are totally worth it.
Yeah.
I think it was $70.
Dang, dude.
Like,
got some height.
There's two tricks. At nighttime, you're gonna see the lights because it's overly lit up, and two, they're usually in a green booth, so you can kind of see them ahead of time if you want to be prepared.
Once you see the green like little tint, put that smile on, okay?
Yes, you do get that one. They're wearing like kind of like the green, like highlighter green that you have. You can see, so you can see them. So make sure you're not doing your like angry running face that I have sometimes.
You did slip into a couple photos. Angry running face.
I do like run, and
also
anytime
her dying
I'm doing
running face. There's a couple that are like.
Well, I never felt quite like that, but it was probably because I was like talking about something.
Right.
I don't think you actually
or
were
I'd
dying.
have like a really
a
lot of concentration. So yeah, when you see them coming, make sure you're smiling or posing.
And you'll see the as far as like the PhotoPass photographers go, if there's no character nearby, you will see the big neon green
where have you
sun
been?
shield.
Where have you been?
Did we just talk about that?
Yes, we did.
Oh.
Did you black out for a second?
I'm sorry. Good talk, everyone.
Emma's too busy staring at Mitch's awesome leaping photo.
I was actually, you know what I was doing? Hold on. I was trying to get the Mitch's leaping photo uncovered. But I was
That's a hard one to achieve.
Technology.
That's what I was saying.
Mac is low.
Mac is low.
You got to turn and plug it in.
Well, you know what? It doesn't hurt to double verify. Anywho's it. And now Mitch has covered it again. There we go.
Yeah.
Don't scream.
Devin, this is from 3 different races, right?
Yeah. So the left and the right are from the Wine and Dine from 2021. The middle one, I believe, is Princess 2020.
And that's the 5K when your leg blew out.
And that was in Epcot. I think that was like the 5. I don't remember. But yeah, so those two are relatively recent.
No, well, Ratatouille's there in the left one. Which was
Yeah, that one is the wine and dine from the last wine and dine. So.
A good to find the photos. All the photos are inside the parks, so not on any of your run stretches in the park. So
none of the boring stretches.
There was one for us. I only think there was one photo pass photographer, and that was with Anna and Elsa at
Right,
character
Anna and
meeting.
Elsa was in like a weird spot because
They did, and they did have a photo pass for that one, but none of the other characters had official photo pass.
I think that's also why we stopped, because we were like, oh, they have photo pass, because all of them were like, they were going to take your phone and take a picture.
Oh, and just take it
Also,
for you. Yeah.
This was when, thankfully, character meet and greets have returned to the prior glory that they had. But at the time that we were
go up to them,
right? Distance, yeah.
So the cast members were, for some reason, it's kind of weird the way they did it, but the cast members could take your phone, and that was okay, but you couldn't get up close to the characters.
Right.
Yeah.
So we went up with our Magic Band saying, hey, we got, Memory Maker. This is our opportunity to get a nice photo pass photo. The picture was identical to the one they took with our phone. So I was like, I guess we didn't need the photo pass photo, but I like Anna and Elsa personally too. They're like two of my
But it's
favorite
nice
pictures.
to have the photo pass photos.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're
Yeah.
photos.
Sometimes they can turn out real bad though.
Yes. Sometimes they can.
Like what?
I think almost all of them were photo passes at the last two races. I always give them my phone too.
Always turn out good.
Yeah, we need that instant gratification.
Finish line photos.
Yes.
I will say, like, do your thing at the finish line, but if you're not gonna run across it, what are you even here for?
Right. Snow on the right hand side. Getting there with that
I mean, love the Snow White bounding like energy, but like literally this lady was standing still at the finish line.
Oh, that's
like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But that's how she got her photo, though.
You did get a great photo. You know how I know? Because my bib was tagged on her
we're
photo.
Showing up on it.
So I got the photo back.
So we have the
It's-
photo of her.
Yeah,
Then.
it's literally this. Like, hold on. Wait, go
Blocking you.
This is me.
It's crazy when like how they can pick up your bib number from like so far away. You're like, how the heck can they know that I'm in this photo? Like
It's just like a little shadow.
yeah, it's like
back here.
like all the way in the back. Like it's nuts. Like some of the photos you get, you're like, what? I would have never noticed me in that. So
Yeah.
This is the photo that I forecasted.
yes.
Bling bling.
Dopey.
Every time I come around your city.
Loaded up.
Loaded.
Glorious dopiness. And
Yeah,
that
because
one,
you get-
that was the Princess 2020. Yeah, okay.
Mhm.
Because you get 2 extra. I got my dopey right here.
There,
You're not
there.
on
Hold
screen.
on. Let me
No,
back
sorry.
up.
Wait, put it up again.
Nice.
And he goes,
Challenge.
doing, doing, doing,
Yeah,
doing.
look at that. It's got some articulation there. Oh,
I like
nice.
the back.
Oh, he
I like
goes
this
do
one
that.
better because it's got all the medals in
Yeah.
his hand.
It's cute.
Yeah.
That is cute.
I probably
You gotta-
won't do one for marathon unless she does.
I mean, that's you've done what you needed to do,
I mean,
man.
I don't know if I feel like I didn't think I'd want to do another half, but I do. But I don't know
Yeah.
about marathon. I just don't think I have the time I know you guys were taking to train for it is just
It is
Very time consuming.
And that's
like,
it.
I don't know. I don't work weekends anymore, but I did when we started training, and just trying to find the time to do, a 5 to 6 mile run,
Mhm.
Yeah.
adding up. So I know you guys get up to you're supposed to train up to 22 miles or something for a marathon.
Yeah. Our friend said that you could get away with a couple 18s before, but man, I trained up to 21 and I felt like that's where my body fell
But you
apart.
also did a 5, 10 and a half marathon before you did the marathon. So
Right.
yes, that would have been probably accurate if you just did a marathon, but you did all of
Right.
that beforehand.
Yeah.
So
But I did, like you said, when I started, I was in a higher corral and I was running and I just so happened to be next to a pacer. So what I would do is I just run up ahead of them as far as I could get my picture with the character and then see them pass, and then I would
That's
catch up.
not a bad way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
We
But I
loved
think-
having the pacer group near us because it was kind of like having a next level balloon lady. Like you knew
Yeah.
they were behind you that you were gonna finish.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
And they did get ahead of us while
they'd
we were
get
taking
ahead
a
of
picture
us
with
if we
Anna and Elsa,
wanted to
but-
do something, and then we'd be like, oh, that's the pacer group, and we'd keep up
Sure.
with them for a while.
You know what we did do, which burned off some of our time, is we did stop to take a picture at every single mile marker.
Yeah, and that was just for
Which they,
That was for
there are
fun.
other people who want to do that too. So we did have to wait in line a couple of times. There was very
Mhm.
short lines. They're not like
and
character
you just
lines,
pop a selfie with
Yeah,
the mile
yeah.
markers.
but definitely like that. I do remember the pacer people passing us at a certain point doing that. Which as
Well,
soon as you,
they were past us for a while, and we actually caught up to them, and we were like,
Like,
okay.
oh,
and then we passed them.
And then we,
Yeah.
by the time we
See
finished,
you
we didn't know
later.
where we were, so
Sucker.
I think they were only a couple minutes behind us, but
Well, when we came up the Epcot on ramp at mile 10, right, or mile 11
it's like mile 10, 11.
between the two,
Yeah.
we hit a mile marker while we were on the actual ramp. But when we were going across the overpass on our way into Epcot, we looked over and everyone, you hear like murmuring, and it was like scared murmuring, and we were like, what's going on? And then someone goes, bus is right there. We like look, oh no! It's like coming up on the overpass or the underpass,
Oh,
about to make the sweep up. And it's
Yeah.
got a ways to go because you just
Yeah.
ran, flash walked,
Yeah.
all of that. But
that
when
was
you
a little
see the bus,
motivating.
you're
Yeah.
like, oh no,
And
gotta
honestly,
run the last lane.
once we were back in Epcot, we were like rearing to go, and that was where we hit everyone who was too tired to run
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah.
to be
The
fair,
adrenaline.
And
you're
all
like,
that Epcot construction going on, there would be these narrow things, and we're
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
guys, the finish line is like
yeah,
right
it's like,
there.
Yeah.
Can you
move.
just move a little bit faster?
Yeah, that's a tough
But-
spot because there's
it-
really nothing there too. There's not really any characters. You have the medical tent, some bathrooms. You make that hairpin, and it's
Yeah.
just they squeeze you in so tight,
used
and
to
then you're
have you
going up
go
on a slant.
Down. Remember before it was all under construction, like where the fountain was, like down and then come back
Yeah.
around.
I'd love to do it again when all the walls come down and
Mhm.
Yeah.
when you can run. I don't know. Maybe they'll like have you run through the like Moana area or something. It would be really
Ooh.
cool.
Incredible.
That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
That would be so cool.
Journey through water.
Oh, and the last
That's when I'd like stick my head in the water.
Well,
No.
you could chase the little springing water.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of water, I've probably forgot some preparation, man. Bring extra shoes.
Oh, in case it rains.
And then if there's
Yeah.
a tip that I could give you that we used is I used the blow dryer and stuck it in my shoe on cold and then
dried it
out.
Yeah.
Don't use hot because then it get moist and stinky, but the
Yeah.
cold on your blow dryer.
Yeah.
That is something we didn't really touch on with like weather preparedness.
Right.
It can be pretty nasty in Florida.
You guys got so
And extra
some of them.
extra socks too.
I believe the events go on rain or shine. I don't know how much weather is
They do.
necessary.
Well,
No
actually, we actually had one of our races cut in 2015. We did Wine and Dine, and they cut it, and it was only 8 miles. It actually started from ESPN that year, and it was like
It was the
last
worst.
year of the Osborne Lights. So luckily, they let us
Run through.
run through there. But yeah, it was supposed to be a half marathon, and then it was cut in half. So
That was-
they'll delay the race, and then they'll just eventually just cut the course for you to be able to run. So that medal is like, we have it, but it's not real.
It's not
and
real.
like, we didn't
Yeah,
really.
It was
promise
supposed to
it.
be our first half.
Yeah.
Oh
Which is really
no!
good because like I didn't train for that one.
Yeah, we were
either.
like, whew, we
And I was
dodged a
like-
bullet kind of on that one because we were a little on, and it was so hot and like, ugh.
I want to say you said it was 8 miles.
It was
I
like
wanna-
8 miles.
I
or
want to
something
say I
like that.
finished at like 3 hours and 30 minutes. or
Yeah, like,
something,
well,
crazy.
I
It was
don't
something-
know.
Yeah, it was something insane.
I don't think that's true. Just saying.
But we
He has
sat
no faith
in
in
the,
himself.
in the expo where it is now.
Yeah.
That's where we sat for like hours
Like, yeah, we're
because it was the nighttime run.
yeah, they used to be at night. I don't know if you guys.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Which
That's
was
how they
awesome,
could delay it
actually.
because the park still wasn't
Yeah.
Yes.
open for a while.
I did like the nighttime races.
I want to say we didn't get home till like 4 in the morning or something crazy.
And they would let you like play in the park like after that wine and dine, like you could go and enjoy, which you still can do, like they just recently did, where you could come back, but it was like literally like right after you would just go and like do your thing in the park for a couple hours, which was really fun. But those were the days.
I wish they would be more.
You can enjoy the park if you buy a park ticket.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
reservation. Don't forget your reservation.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of my jokes when we were walking into the Epcot
Right.
backstage when we got there.
Did we make a park reservation?
Yeah. It's like they dropped us off at the front gate. I was like, do we need reservations to get in?
Oh, stupid park reservations.
That's like a dad's Disney joke.
Yeah.
You do a lot of dad jokes.
I do
For
a lot.
someone who is not.
Who doesn't love a good dad joke?
They never go out of style. Mitch, what else you got for me, man? Tips and tricks for race day.
Race day.
I know that list keeps going.
You know what? I don't know if we could fall into the. Go ahead.
Oh, just if you're planning on stopping or slowing down, be courteous to the people around you. Put your arm up, move over to the side.
For the right.
Don't walk in a long line of people. Like if you're with your friends or family, try to remember that there are people behind you trying to run. That's a big one for us. It just drives us absolutely insane.
Be patient.
Yeah.
Be courteous.
And pack your patience.
Because
again.
25,000 people is a lot more than you really think it is.
Mhm.
Especially when you're sardined in a tight area.
Yeah. Yep.
Also, like, don't be afraid to fail. I mean, you did all this training, but you're not going to get around injuries, and you're not going to get around, like, you're not used to getting up at 3 o'clock in the morning and then waiting 3 hours to run a race. So majority of the time, you're probably going to run longer than you have. So you should just be proud of that. You might get caught by the bus, but there's always more races. There's always more runs.
Yeah.
Be happy. Get up. Get caught up in the
If you
hype.
never did a half, but you ran 8 miles for the first time, then that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, you take pride in what you're able to do.
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah, know your limits.
I said,
Yeah.
like I said, the first few runs we did, we never stopped for pictures. I say train, but have fun. Like, stop for those pictures with your favorite characters, because I mean that's really what you're paying for is the Disney touch.
Disney.
Like you said, like it is almost every half mile there's something: water, a mile marker, a character. So you're never gonna get like runs like this anywhere else, man. It's get caught up in the hype, but don't get caught up in the hype running faster than you should.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's
Vanessa,
it.
did you see Vanessa's comment?
I did. I was actually saving.
Oh, you're gonna
are
save
you
it?
are you tapped out on extra tips, Mitch?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I don't think I mean, I could go on.
more.
If you have
Lay 'em
more-
on us.
Okay. No, I'm good. I
Back
think
in the
so.
branded. There you go.
Did you-
Hold on,
I'm
let me
gonna-
see
I'm
here.
gonna- I'm gonna add. We did have some sparing questions from social.
Oh, I
on
see
Run
where you were
Disney.
going with that.
I'm gonna add Vanessa's to this one, which
Would you
is
consider
What's
doing
a
like
mega
an
race?
ultra,
doing the mega
like
runs,
100
200
or-
miles.
My
I
answer
mean,
is
yeah.
no.
I mean, I think like I said no. I said that I would never run another marathon, but
He's
like
fine. Leave him.
we, like she said, we watch our friend who's been running these hundreds, and she's so inspiring that I'm like, I would try a 50 and then work my way from there. But I think I would have to run another marathon to really get my brain wrapped around something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I am very inspired by people like you guys that can consistently run half
These
marathons,
events, yeah.
and even like just repeated 5Ks and claim your dopies and all of the cool, amazing things you've been able to do. For me personally, I feel very fulfilled by the half, and I feel like if anything, I might do another half someday, but I don't think I'm compelled to like try and do an actual like a full marathon. They
You
just
say
feel
that
like that
now.
would-
Say that
You
now.
always said that too. I'm just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
You do a couple more races
You do
and
a
you feel
couple
more
more
comfortable
races.
with it, then you might be
I
like,
did my 10K and I was like, that was amazing. I
Yeah.
can never do a half marathon, and
Yeah,
I did that
exactly.
10K in 2017.
I convinced her to sign up for the half marathon.
I was like, I've done a 10K before, and that's why
And
I
had
told
not done a 10K.
I told him
Yeah.
like because I had this work 10K coming up like in October before our race, and I was like, if we're doing this half, you're running this 10K in October, because if you can't do that, then we can't do it. Plus,
That's
plus
what
he
we
had
already spent
literally
the money,
never
so-
like done a race before. I was like, you need to know what it's like to go, get your stuff. And,
Yeah.
and that race was, I mean, there were like 60 people total participating in that race. We
Right.
actually got awards for that
We did,
one
we did.
because I won in like my age group.
Yeah, I'm gonna quantify that. We did win in our age groups,
Yeah.
not
Excellent.
overall. We took third place.
I was
for-
like
That's
third,
That's
awesome.
amazing though.
25 to 29, and then I got like a $50 Amazon gift card, and I was like, registration was like
Heck yeah.
$60.
Yeah, we
So
got
That's
all
awesome.
the registration back.
That's
in Ward.
amazing.
And then
Damn.
they messed up something with the time cards and kept sending us stuff like in the mail. They're like, we're sorry about the time cards. Here's a running headband. Here's this. We're like,
Dang.
Okay.
we definitely got our money's worth.
Right.
Yeah.
Sweet.
But yeah, I did want him to do the 10K so that he could at least get a. And he was more in shape for the 10K than me. That was a wake up call. I was like, oh boy,
That's
Yeah.
cool.
oh man.
I'm gonna do some training.
And
Put
that
me
was,
through the
and
ringer.
there were some hills there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean Baltimore's not flat like
No.
Florida.
Right.
We were headed uphill at. You have Jeff Galloway in your ear doing interval running, and he's like, "Start running," and
We're
you
like-
look up, and
You're like,
the
oh
hill's
crap.
going- like, why didn't you say that 2 minutes ago?
I can't. Are you
We're
sure?
trying
Why
to
isn't now walking time?
So, we literally were paying like Frogger too, because like there
There were cops stopping.
there's like
traffic.
cops
There was-
stopping traffic so that runners could like go across the street.
Crazy.
Wow.
I mean,
It's definitely not comparable to
Yeah.
what we did. For
But it
Run
also,
Disney, but it
like-
was a good warm up.
yeah, I gave him a good
Yeah.
warm up, and me and Warwick, 'cause I hadn't done an event in some time. But yeah, Run Disney, nothing like it. Did I lay down the law on something?
You did. You
Yeah.
told me I had to sign up.
Oh
for it.
yeah. Sorry, I was like, what? I promise it's just water, guys, and just I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
It's
Not
Apple
me.
Squad.
Not Devin.
My white
I
claw.
will.
Devin's got the apple sloughs.
Jamie and Ari, thanks for tuning in, guys. The live will be here in recap
Yeah,
form
if
within the next 24 hours. So if anyone is interested in going back and
Yeah,
replaying, the
definitely check out Mitch and Devon's Run Disney
Yes,
vlogs.
please
Check out some
do.
other ones. I think the vlogs really helped us when we were training, and also just inspired us and got us, ready to go. Well, I mean,
Mitch taught
watching
me
you
everything I
guys
know
do
about
wine
training.
and dine, because that's when like we had just done like that training 10K,
Mhm.
and then we were like, "Ooh, it's gonna be so cool." I mean, yours it was different themes, but because Run Disney races were like off for
Yeah, that was the first
over
one
a
back.
year.
Yeah.
Mhm. Since we did the last and the first, which is pretty kind of like cool
Yeah.
that we were able to do the 2020 Princess and then the
first-
rerun.
I didn't
Trying not
really
to
know.
make a
Yeah.
cascading yawn. One of the other questions we got was, is there anything we wish we did differently? Which I mentioned my one thing was trim your toenails, which is kind of almost seems like a stupid piece of it, like everyone should know to do that, but
And it can make you so
learning
For
things
miserable.
for the
someone
first
who
time.
didn't run before,
Yeah, this is
That-
my
that-
experience with running.
That's definitely still like people don't think of it.
no. And
Yeah.
honestly, I knew that, but I didn't even think to tell him because I was, more worried about
Her ankle.
my ankle and my
Mhm.
body, which
Hmm.
sorry, but yeah, if you have a don't get like the fancy with the jewels pedicure before you
Right.
run.
Well,
Just keep them short.
I mean, there are definitely people who run. I mean, we've talked about people running in full costume. There's actually a channel that I've seen a couple vlogs from called Running in Makeup, where she does bedazzled herself, so to speak.
I mean,
but
if I could have done it differently, I may have tried a little costume, maybe.
like a casual cosplay.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, not even like a casual cosplay, but maybe something a little. Because honestly, it almost felt out of place to just be in my
I didn't
like,
feel out of place.
t-shirt.
I didn't,
I mean,
no.
it was comfortable, which is what I wanted.
I felt like I was
but
right
we got
in
there,
place.
and I was like, man, there's just so many
Yeah.
things.
But like the
and
short runs, like if you're doing like a 5K or 10K, I think
Yeah.
that you can go full on.
And that's
crazy.
the thing. Like, there was no way I was gonna put ears on my head for 13
That's-
miles.
That's why I tried that top
No.
hat.
Yeah.
That was the first time ever doing a little dress up because that was a cotton t-shirt with that. And I did not train in that, but I was like, it's a 5K.
Yeah.
It was
doable.
raining. It was cold. I was like, I could get away with this.
Yeah.
But
But-
a lot of people do was it bonding? Bonding? Is that what?
Bounding.
Disney bounding?
Yeah.
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 So it looks like more of a. you could
I
get the
had
running
like
gear for
in
that.
my Etsy wish list of Rapunzel themed kind of running dress.
Mhm.
I just never went in on it, and then 2 weeks before the
They're
race, I was like, this will not be
too. Yeah, and it's like you're gonna. I mean, it's worth it, but sometimes it's hard for me to just click that purchase button when I'm like, I'm gonna wear this one time.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I gonna be comfortable? I don't know,
To wear
but
it
I
for
mean,
Halloween.
people look so cute. So yeah,
So,
I'm just
You
not.
could always wait another 2 years and break it out again.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
I could wear it.
You gotta
for-
let it cycle back through.
I could
Wear
wear
it
it
in
for
the neighborhood when I'm running.
Halloween and stuff too.
There you go,
Or
there
just
you
wear it in the parks. People wear that stuff
Yeah.
all the time.
That's true.
But-
That's true.
What was the question again?
It was what would you do
differently?
differently?
No, what would you do?
Because I guess
We've only run one,
we've only done one, but
so
I'm
any
sure
lessons
there's-
learned are fresh here.
yeah.
Maybe
Mine was my blisters. Invest in some good socks and always bring a change of shoes if they get wet because
Yeah.
you're gonna have crazy blisters.
Yeah.
And that ruined the rest of my runs. So that's what I would always be prepared with.
that's good.
Yeah, that's
I don't really have those problems, but
Well, aren't you special?
I'm not. Just
But
train.
actually, the fact that you said that ruined all my other runs plays directly into what is actually our last question. I think this came from Morgan, who's no longer
Oh,
actively in the audience. But thoughts on doing multiple races at one event? We have no insight into this at all.
And
That's
this actually is something, now that I think about it, when we were done, I was like, I kind of wish we had done the challenge. I
Yeah.
kind of wish we
the
had
way to
done this
go.
in the half.
There's no way I would have been able to
I
do that
know,
that
but
weekend.
but it made me go I think I want to do that.
Yeah.
I
It's-
want that to be the next step.
It's
I was just gonna say it's the next step into not actually committing to doing a marathon, but you're also pushing yourself to do multiple races that are digestible pieces where you're I can do a 5K, I can do a 10K, stuff like that, to where it's challenging but it's doable and it's exhausting but it's exhilarating and it's expensive. But it's more I don't know, it's cool to be I ran every race of this event. It just feels good. So
Yeah.
with
I just feel
multiple ra- go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mitch.
No, you're good.
I'm good.
It's all about pacing on that one, because or training, because the 5, 10 half, you don't have to train as much as if you got the marathon. But once you're training for the marathon, I feel as if it's not as hard to do the other ones, but it's of course when you're doing the 2 big runs back to back, which it probably will feel the same doing the 10 and the half, but just not overdoing the first 2 to 3 races.
take them easy.
You got to take those easy,
Don't sprint your way through a 5K.
because you're ending up running a marathon over, for the, what is that, the Goofy
It's-
Challenge or whatever, or the Wine and Dine.
If you do the half, the 10, and the 5, it's
Or the 10 and a half.
So the only challenge is going to be the 10 and the
the
half.
10 and a half.
yeah, that's
For,
the official
those ones.
challenge.
And then you could add on.
A lot of people do the 5K too. And
Yeah.
honestly, that's what we were talking about. I was like, I think I want to do a challenge race next, or at least in the future. And he's like, well, you want to just do the 10 and the half. And I was like, well, I kind of feel like should just do the 5.
Yeah, because that's gonna feel like cake after you're
Right.
doing the other part. It's like it's
Yeah.
gonna breeze by. So
Once
Like-
you're trained for the half or the longer run, it doesn't feel as bad as what you put it in your mind. Like it sounds like a lot, but like
the
you
worst
kind
part's
of
waking up
trained.
early. That's literally the
Right.
Yeah.
worst
Like 3
part.
days in
Yeah.
a row of
It's
that
exhausting.
early.
But I never think back like I wish I never did that. Like
Yeah, I
ever.
know.
I'm always like, I can't wait to do
Yeah.
this again. It takes me like a month to like be like, why did I do that? And then eventually I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for the next one. So it's so
you-
fun.
If you look at
It's
my
terrible,
Instagram
but fun.
stories of that, I think I have my Instagram stories of my Dopey challenge, and I'm waking up with coffee, and my first day I'm like, and then marathon I'm like, so yeah, I mean that 2:00 in the morning wake up is for me the hardest, and I'm a morning person.
Mhm.
But I think that the multiple runs are worth it.
I do too. And you get to see different parts of the park. So
Different
And
characters.
different characters
Yeah.
come out
Yeah,
too.
different characters. Darkwing
That's-
Duck. Mhm.
Flynn and Rapunzel were out for the 10K, but not the half, and I was gutted.
Not
bummed.
well.
Yeah.
Supposedly they were out for the half, but they
But they-
rotated
but
into
they got
someone else by
switched
the time
out.
we arrived.
Yeah.
Last row.
Yeah, that's
But that's what I
So
think will be
every-
fun about doing the 5K because like just take it easy. Like it's not as long, so there's not as many characters anyway. But like I would feel better about stopping, getting my pictures,
Mhm.
Yeah.
or maybe more pictures with some of my surroundings or whatnot.
Yeah,
Just for that. Yeah.
An extra note, just like for a quick tip, if you are in a later corral, if you don't mind skipping out on your morning pictures, you could get later. Go into the corral before everybody and get to the front of the back of those corrals, because if you get up there, you're almost pretty much in whatever the other
Yeah.
corral.
Exactly. We were in the we weren't I say we were like
We were in the
middle.
last corral.
We
but
were in the last
middle of
corral,
the
but
pen.
in like the middle of it. So we weren't the
Mhm.
last.
And we kind of did start edging our way towards the front as more and more people. But then, not gonna lie, we lost some ground when we had to take a bathroom break before the start. So
Yeah.
it was.
I go do a lot of
You gotta
bathroom
fight your
breaks.
way in, and then you gotta fight your way out, and then you gotta fight your way back in again. So.
Yeah.
But it was. I mean, I also didn't realize the first time going that they would restart the countdown, like the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the firework.
This should have gone somewhere, I feel like, but I would say don't sleep on like doing some good stretching and whatnot before your races either.
Yeah, 'cause
like
they
a
just
lot of people do it in
stand.
the corrals while they're waiting,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and there's no like.
Room.
Which was kind of cute at like the race that we did for the 10K. They had like someone like warming people up and leading like stretches. I don't think that's a regular thing, if at all, at Disney races. So you're kind of responsible for doing your own like stretching. So just make sure you're warmed up and nice and stretched out, because that'll make a difference in your
Absolutely.
wow.
Jay's looking for a Darkwing Duck.
We have
and I'm
seen-
here for it.
We have seen pictures of people with Darkwing Duck.
Hey, Santiago.
Welcome.
Welcome.
I will say, Kaylee did drop a couple comments here. Go ahead and give Tim and Katie a big thumbs up.
Thanks.
Much appreciated. But arguably more important is her previous comment. Please do subscribe to our friends Mitch and Devon at our Florida
Thanks,
Pass.
guys.
All of their information is in the description below, and they are far better at Run Disney events than we are.
For more
More practice.
experience.
Yeah. Just practice, practice.
They do a ton of awesome, cool
Yeah,
stuff.
and
all over
amongst
Florida
other-
and other
other-
places as well.
All their other great content.
Thank you, guys.
This, honestly, guys, this has been one of our longest. I know I promised you we would be wrapping up around 9, and we're
I've been
almost-
looking
we're
forward
pushing
to
10.
this
I was
all day, though. I have to
Yeah.
say, it was just
No, it was fun.
I mean, I could talk all day.
So we knew it would kind of be social hour, but we really appreciate you guys hopping on
Yeah.
and providing some expertise where we lack it. We really did
Love this.
love our first Run Disney event. I don't think we had talked about doing another one this year, and then with the vacation time we had to spend, it just didn't seem to be
It wasn't in the time budget or
Yeah.
the financial budget. budget this year.
But I don't think that the princess that we ran earlier this year will be our last for sure. So maybe the next time we run one, we can try to get you guys in on it.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
See if we can keep pace with Mitch by that time.
Which brings,
Oh.
I totally forgot about that too. That's another thing. If you're running with friends, man, I don't know how to say that. Don't push somebody past where they can't go, or you also don't try to run as fast as they run
Right.
if you
Yeah.
can't. That goes back
'Cause
to
I-
training. But
Yeah, I told Tim, I was like, if I have to stop because of my ankle, I really want you to finish. So just, we'll catch up. But you ended up doing okay.
I
But
refuse
yeah,
to leave her side.
yeah.
because Devon's shorter than me, so I do run faster just by stride.
Yeah.
So a lot of times when training, I just run back to her, and then when I run my race, I just run at her speed. So that is like my perfect pacing.
Yep.
Anyway,
It's
I'm
also
just
like you said too. I mean, you have to kind of hold back a little bit at the beginning. So like I'm
Mhm.
deliberately keeping a shorter stride so that I don't burn myself out doing.
Yeah.
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 But then towards the end, we
Gotta push
not gonna
it.
lie. I know we talked about run without music and feeling the mood of the moment and whatnot. We had the My Hero Academia soundtrack blasting for that last like quarter mile,
Yeah.
and we were like sprinting like maniacs trying to get through it.
Yeah.
So
It was the
it was fun.
being
It was
knowing that the finish line was up ahead and we were close to that.
save a little
Thing.
energy for the end.
Yeah.
If
It
you-
was definitely worth.
It was worth it.
Yeah, worth
Yeah.
every little bit. It was worth the murder mile or whatever it was.
The murder mile. I like that.
Every mile is murder. That should be their
Every
new
mile is.
Oh, I didn't
Most
even
miles
bring
are
any
magic.
tuners.
2 are definitely. murder.
2 are a hellscape.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I don't think you didn't have your sunglasses with you,
No,
right?
I did not.
I
I had a hat though, and it
if
kept
you're
my-
gonna be in the later corral and you're gonna run when the sun comes up, consider having sunglasses, because
hat.
when you start heading back towards Epcot, at least for our race, and the sun is blazing into your eyes, it does not motivate you.
because
I had my
wore-
sunglasses.
Because I wore a hat, I did not.
Oh,
Put
that's right, you
sunscreen
did.
On.
You did have your
Mm.
I had a hat, yeah. So I didn't put sunscreen on my head because I didn't want to sweat it into my eyes, which happens a lot, and it would have made me miserable. But I did put sunscreen on my arms, so I was thankful for that. You do hit that 2-mile stretch where you're just like,
Open road,
yeah, it's like a
blazing.
fryer.
Yeah.
It's like being on a grill.
Yeah.
We're really
But-
feeling it, guys.
Once you get through that stretch, it's like
Right.
if you got anything left in the tank,
Yeah.
dump it into
That
those last
stretch is
couple.
like where they give you those energy beans too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was definitely, they know
They
know
know
what
what
they're
They're like,
doing.
oh, you're dying. Here's some energy beans. It's like a power up
Actually
mushroom
tasted
in the
better
middle
than
of the
I
race.
thought they were going to be honest. I thought they would just
Stingers.
taste.
That's what they're called,
Stingers,
right?
yeah.
That's bothering me. Okay.
Well, while that's going on,
sunglasses.
I'm going to go ahead and give you guys our creator spotlights for this week. Currently, Hannah is a well-established YouTuber that we only just found. Got some really cool stuff, and she is not exclusively Disney, but the Disney stuff she does do is often on Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney
She's
Sea.
an
She's
Aussie
Ooh.
living in
an
Japan.
Aussie living in
Sounds
Japan.
amazing.
We actually learned a lot about travel from watching a couple of her stray vlogs, so she's an established travel vlogger. But definitely really fun and really approachable and accessible, and he has a lot of good tips, like
Yeah.
Mitch and Devon.
If you would like a new YouTube personality,
Definitely one to check out. Lauren Hawk is a new YouTuber, like a brand new YouTuber that we've stumbled across through Disney YouTube networks and Facebook groups. And actually, she is currently on the Disney Wish. She's an actress
Oh,
performing as a character on the Disney
Cool.
Wish,
Oh, that's awesome.
taking us through the different stages of boarding the Disney Wish and what it's like as a character actor on the boat. So I think that's really cool.
That is.
And
That is-
Dream Fighting with Francis is a vlogger and a influencer that we've been following for some time, have not shouted out yet, but she has all the socials: YouTube, TikTok, Insta, Twitter, website, Pinterest. She just did her first live stream ever a couple days ago, and it was really, really helpful, talking about the monetization of content, as well as like networking with brands and sponsors and whatnot. So she's pretty established. Her YouTube is not her biggest platform. I think Instagram is, but she has done a lot of work with brands and can kind of give feedback on how that process works, which I found really helpful. Mitch and Devon have also done some brand work in the last couple of days, weeks, months, years. So definitely, once again, guys, please do check out Mitch and Devon as well.
Thanks,
they are
guys.
down below.
We appreciate you.
Out if you haven't.
You are
yet.
missing out. You're not following Devon. And I think
love you guys.
I have left is our next live stream, which is not going to be as fun as this one because Mitch and Devon won't be there for it. But it will be happening one way or another.
This is me finding out that this is the next topic.
Well, this it just kept coming up. Like people kept asking for more content on Genie Plus, and so.
Do you know how many times I've used Genie Plus?
A lot. Too many.
No, like me personally have used it.
You've exploited it.
I've used it 0 times. You're the one who always books the stuff.
Actually uses it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Like
I'm the
I
same.
benefited from it, but I've never actually been like, I'm gonna find. No, that's a lie. I did get us a Ratatouille.
You did.
She's the
Ooh,
captain
good
of our
job.
ship.
Yeah, this.
Well, I gotta learn how to use it because I get asked at work all the time about Genie
yeah.
Plus, and I was like, "Yeah, let me tell you about Genie Plus that I've never used." So I finally used it the other day, but I'll be interested to see this.
It's
live
a
show.
it's kind of a
Disney.
necessary evil, to be honest, in today's Disneyland and Disney World. But we have used it often. I'm not proud of it. I don't love the system, but
Yeah,
it is beneficial when it works.
yeah.
So we'll definitely be digging into
Bring
that.
us your Genie Plus woes and pros.
Ooh, I
It
like
sounds
that.
like it's working a lot better than what it did when it's in its.
I know its launch
Yeah.
was not smooth.
What's rough?
It's rough.
There's a lot of angry customers going up
Yeah.
to me. That's for sure.
I was gonna say, I was like, I think you were working by
Yeah.
then, right?
Mhm. Yeah, it was a rough January, February, but there's less of that, luckily.
All right.
Well, thank you
I
guess
guess that's-
Yeah.
We
Thank you
reached
for
the
having
end.
us on.
We have reached the end of the adventure.
Thanks.
We should definitely do our outro, but we all got to hold up the medals on the way
Yeah.
out. On the way out the door.
All right.
All right,
Yours is
y'all.
right there.
That's okay.
I'm Tim,
I'm Katie.
I'm Mitch.
And I'm Devin.
And this is Lady.
and every day
Is a new
It's a new
adventure.
adventure.
Bye. Clang, clang, clang.
cling cling,
Clang, clang.
and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.